joining the club.
You have a cap today.
It has to be an airline one.
Well, it says Airbus.
Well, yeah. Oh, aviation one.
His Airbus in 2026 has decided to be an airline. Airbus decided to be an airline. Maybe. Actually, you know, there's surprises every day nowadays in this new world. Look, we didn't say in the last episode, and it's going to feel weird for people tuning in to this in February-ish. I don't know when this is going to come out. So Happy New Year, buddy.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yes, Happy New Year.
we didn't say that to each other. And you sent me a card, which is beautiful. Thank you so much. Which I suck at. I never send cards. I'm sorry. I need to up my game for the end of this year. And with a gift, we'll talk about it at the end of the year, by the way. Let's not talk about it today. But you said you're leveling up your online presence by joining as a co-host a popular podcast. So now I have a lot of pressure because we are
remain popular.
We have to be. Man, thank you so much for the card. And though that was, you offered that to me when you came to the UK, which we'll talk about today. It's going to be a Star Alliance episode talking about Lufthansa on my end and Air Canada on yours. You brought me these Raincoast crisps.
Oh, yeah.
Man, I cannot find a dealer here in the UK. These are absolutely stunningly delicious.
Especially with...
Well, I have them. I don't know. I had them with cheese and foie gras. Actually, believe it or not, because I've opened them. I think we brought 2-3 packs. I opened them for New Year's Eve. Sorry, guys, this is about aviation. I'm talking crisp, but never mind. And these were, where's the button? Is that this one? No, God.
You've never been to Canada?
There you go.
Yeah. There you go.
Now I need to go to Canada just for this crisp.
Just for that.
Man, every time you come, you're welcome to come anytime you want. Please bring me some crisp. I was looking online if I could find a dealer in London, and I couldn't. I mean, I'm sure there's like some specialty stores somewhere, but I just finished them, so I'm really and we're recording this on the 13th of January. So popular. We will need.
I just want to tell you both good luck. We're all counting on you.
This. I didn't get luck. You remember when we talked about my Swiss?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so for those who don't watch on video, Swiss was running this campaign where you could buy a full chocolate bar, the same ones that you get on board. Since we're talking Star Alliance, why not mention it today?
And food,
exactly. And so that was going through Migros, which is a retailer in Switzerland, just for a month of December, if I remember correctly. And there was a QR code in it. So there was no voucher, but a QR code in it, which I applied, and I didn't win the 1,000 Swiss francs of flight vouchers, which would have led me to Canada to see you and buy some Raincoast crisps.
Right?
See?
Exactly. Yeah.
That's a
Now imagine if an airline picked Air Canada, pick that up as part of an in-flight offering.
Oh, see? There you go. That marketing spiel. Air Canada, if you're listening, you should, by the way, listen, because now we have a specialist of everything Canada and Air Canada, Vinod. You should totally listen to him and actually bring these Raincoast crisps on board, and they'll happily fly. I mean, actually, I've never flown Air Canada. I've never flown Air Canada. Maybe I might have when I was very young. I've never flown Air Canada, so... but that would drive me to fly. Not that I avoid them, right? But just never. And a few times it was like a possibility, and I never did it. So I would definitely fly with you, Air Canada, if you bring these Raincoast crisp. So look, let's run the music, and now, of course, I know I do this in every episode. I'm always confused with my buttons. I need to label them before I play the music because I never know which one. That's the one. So how cool was that episode of Flighty, man?
That was great.
Right?
That was I wasn't sure if we were going to go technical or not. And it just worked.
Yeah, it just worked.
Yeah,
it just worked. Ryan.
It was so good talking to him.
Yeah, Ryan, you were so cool. Thank you so much for all the insights as well. Saying that for those who listen, I mean, why do I say that? Of course you listen if you just listen to my voice and Vinod's now right now. As the moment we're recording this, I haven't even released the episodes. It's weird because we don't have a feedback yet because I've been so rammed with work that I haven't had time to finish the edit. But yeah, it's and it triggered something in you because you told me that just after the recording, what did you start doing?
Well, I remember in the recording, we kind of joked and said, "Oh, I'm going to pull out a box of data boarding passes to really populate," because obviously that's all about the bragging, right? And trying to build up that passport, as we were kind of jokingly talking about. And I was pulling up stuff of recent past, going through my old boarding passes on Apple Wallet and things I could remember. It's like, oh yeah, of course I went on that flight. Anything within the past 5 to 6 years is pretty easy to kind of grasp onto.
Yeah.
I was like, hang on, we've been flying for a long time. I mean, since I was born, and I'm sure like yourself as well. So I don't know, it just suddenly clicked. I'm like, I remember I have a box of boarding passes and bag tags. So I went and I found them just for size reference to my head. And so I spent, and I'm just going to hold it without the whole thing collapsing on me, but it's all full of tags, passes.
How far back do they go? Do you
this particular box
because
took
you
me
have many.
back to about 2003.
Oh wow! See,
Or
I
so.
don't have that. I
Yeah,
have a box. I have a box of boarding passes. Man, we're very similar. I have a box of boarding passes, neatly organized year by year, in also clear, laminated stuff. So and it's wonderful. But I think mine only starts in 2009. So I'm currently doing, so I was also, because it inspired me, I went back on flight and I said, okay, I need to do 2013. And then now I'm on 2011, I think. I had this, and I mentioned this during the podcast 155, for those who haven't listened with Ryan about Flighty. I had this spreadsheet, which, by the way, also is not at all in the order in which Flighty presents the information. So I need to jump through hoops every time through columns. I need to reorder the columns anyway. But that also only goes to 09, 10. So basically everything before that, it's really luck of the draw. So I'm looking at my emails. I'm looking at but I have even though I had my Gmail since 2004, many of the things were either gone, or maybe I deleted them, or maybe by then they didn't get the receipt via email. It was paper based, and maybe I have multiple boxes of just paperwork, because I've lived in many countries, so I keep stuff, and I need to one day digitize them, which one day will be after I die or something. So maybe there's a few more there, but honestly, I doubt it. So you will beat me in the number. Plus, you were a flight attendant, so by definition, you'll have to beat me. There's no way I've flown more than you, man, because you were a flight attendant.
That's where things get a bit wonky, because if I put my work flights in there, I think we talked about in the episode,
you need to.
It could skew it. I mean, maybe one day if there's a filter where you can have personal versus, I mean, there is a category there. I suppose.
There's a category. You can put crew.
Yeah, I suppose I could do that.
Yeah, I think you should. I mean, it's still part of your flying history. I'm sure many people listening were using Flighty or other tools, especially if you're on Android. There are a few other tools. I mean, that matters. That counts.
It does.
We were actually in flight,
Yeah.
So.
I mean, opening this box took me really down memory lane, because, some boarding passes have the year, some don't. So I'm looking at some like, oh yes, I remember going there, but I'm a bit blurred on the year. For example, Brazil, which we'll come to at some point. Yeah. Multiple times I've been, I was like, well, which one did I do this, and which one did I go there, and which one did I connect to this? Because it's kind of common airports. So there's a lot of going back to my, backup drives, pulling up photos, and like yourself, I like to pick pictures in flight and out the windows, and going to all the metadata there, saying, when was that? Oh, that was right. It was really good to challenge the app as well, which he asked us to do. I think he mentioned 2005 was kind of when data starts to fall off the shelf.
Yeah, like two thresholds. He said 2015, it starts to become sketchy. And before 05, I think he mentioned, maybe it could be 05, that it becomes really, really rare.
It does. A couple flights, 03, it actually pulled, but the rest it didn't. So it was, you have to manually enter, and then, putting the departure and arrival and probably a time if I have a boarding pass. That part was easy, even the seat. But the part that my data starts to kind of get a bit mush is knowing the aircraft type.
Yeah, no way.
Right? I mean, of course, a long haul, I could probably remember 67 or 747, but all the intra-Europe flight, I just pretty much put A320 because
that's pretty much it anyway. Trust me. Like the years I've not flown, there's a year, I think it's 2011, where the most flown aircraft, I think my best year, because the most flown aircraft was 747-400. Nice. I've flown it like 18 times or something, like, because it was living in Asia, and Northwest which became Delta, and also KLM was flying it as well. So there was like a lot. And then, but the years to talk about the 320, and we'll talk about the 320 today because we're talking about Lufthansa. The years where I've flown, I think 2014 is a year I've flown less long haul. I mean, the 320 is off the charts because it's everything you get in Europe, basically, besides, Ryanair and KLM. So, yeah. The same, actually, what I've done, and then we'll move on. I think people are maybe not interested in that many details. So maybe it helps you actually creating your own history of aircraft. Sometimes I look at the fleet of the airline that I've flown, and I know it's that year. So I'm like, that year. So I mentioned actually in the podcast, it's a flight I took in 93. So we're talking like old stuff. I went to stay in Costa Rica for a while. Pretty sure it was Iberia. I mean, I'm sure it was Iberia on the way back. Was it on the way there? I had a really, really sketchy memory. But no, 93 actually, it doesn't matter. But on the way back, I'm like, this is probably a 7-4. Because if I look at Iberia's fleet back in the day with long haul, there was, basically that was it, right? So you can infer a little bit like that. Or the MD-11 at Swiss at some point was also very big to go to the US. Stuff like that I can infer, but I mean, I'm not sure, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's fun. I mean, for me, at least, if I have everything nicely done until, let's say, 05, I'll be happy. The rest, I'm trying to get at least that right. It's a bit of a rabbit hole sometimes because I spend way too much time of one single flight, like going like, what could it be? And I think we'll move on because most people get bored. My spreadsheet I had done, as I mentioned in that episode as well, I had used flight stats. It still exists, and you can do this historical data. You have to pay for it. Some of the stuff that Flighty finds is not what I had written for the same flight. So I'm so totally confused. I'm like, did I write it wrong? Could be because I was just writing it down myself, looking at what flight stats would give me. Or maybe flight stat was wrong at a time and corrected since. I haven't reactivated my subscription to flight stats because, I trust Flighty. But it's just interesting that sometimes I would like, or I would take I would have noted down, let's say a window seat, let's say A somewhere, right?
Yeah.
And I look at my pictures like you, and like, picture is taken from the other side. Exactly. So maybe I was moved, or maybe I changed, but I didn't note it down, of course, and it's 20 years ago. So how can I remember this? I just don't know.
Yeah.
And let's not even talk about the fact that I started digital late because I was a film photographer for a long time. So I have boxes of pictures.
Of actual hard copy.
Yes. So and I'm not gone through that. Because this will take me like another rabbit hole, which then will lead me to start, and then I'll disappear forever, and this podcast will never be released because I'll start like scanning all my old pictures and I'll emerge in 2037 or something.
Well, doing this thing, it was 3 nights on the sofa while we were trying to blitz through Stranger Things. And
Nice.
it's funny, on my phone, as I was entering flights, it was almost for each flight, 1% of battery would drain out.
Oh, wow.
It was actually consuming a lot because, I don't know, it was like magically wanting to think and connect with servers of the flighty all power that be. But for me, my marker is January 1, 1982.
82. Why
82? Because that's the year when my family, we immigrated from Malaysia to Canada. And so our landing documents, it's an interesting date. It was 1st of January, 1982, JAL 12. That's all I have for record. And in my mind, I know it was a 747-200.
Yeah.
So I've put that in as my marker, and my goal is to fill whatever I can
that's
patch together in there.
82. I mean, plus sadly for me, my parents passed away, so I cannot even ask them. So I
same. Yeah.
And I will probably have to look. My brother in Switzerland has the family albums. So I will have to go there. Maybe there's pictures of, the airport or the aircraft. Maybe I'll make it up. Yeah, like, this I recognize. This is a 74. Oh, this is a whatever, right? But that's a rabbit hole that'll take me years. I want to take the modern era of me nailed down. And then once that's done, then I will go start slowly, when I have a few minutes that transforms into an entire evening like you, I will do like 1 or 2 flights.
Exactly. But the stats really pushed up, like the number of kilometers, the number of flights just completely changed. So it's great.
But still, it's nowhere near these 1 million milers plus per year.
That's wow.
I looked, the most flight I did was 180 a year, but I mean, since a lot were like short haul, obviously, I'm nowhere near these numbers. It's just insane. Anyway, since we're on there, and then we'll move on for people who love geeky stuff about. This is something I've gotten 2 months ago. It's a little clock that sits next to my desk. It's called JetClock, and it has an AD. What do you call it? ADSB. ADSB.
Yeah.
So it's a little Raspberry Pi. So it's a little computer, which has to link to the internet, of course, to get the data, and it records your location. So you give it with your. I use my iPhone. I said, okay, this is where I am, and also where I'm pointing. And so because I'm of course under one of the flight, under the landing path of London Heathrow, I'm getting like now it's other. What is this? What is ABZ? The airport. I don't even know. I should know that. So we're a podcast using these codes for the name of the show. Aberdeen, ABZ, maybe Aberdeen, maybe. Anyway, so ABZ to Heathrow Airbus A321 Neos is at 1,000. I don't know why I put it meters.
It is Aberdeen.
Feet. Anyway,
just looked it up.
It goes at 311 kilometers per hour right now. And it's on my right because, of course, I'm not just below the landing path there, slightly on my right. So it's really fun because, and it's a clock when there's nothing. And you can also set the distance, if I remember correctly, the distance at which you want it to say something. I mean, you could put like, maybe if you put too much, and then there will be information every 5 seconds. For me, because I have the landing path, I have always something appearing. It's a pretty fun thing. You can order JetClock.io. This is really fun, to be honest, to have. It's completely useless, right? But it's it's nice companion
really
next to my screen, my computer screen, and I'm watching planes land or depart as well. So it's really I've had Mathieu, when he's one of our very, very long time listener, who sent me a message. Have you heard about those guys? Like, well, I already bought it. So as soon as I saw the ad somewhere, I don't remember, 2 months ago, I bought it. Got here like a few days later. You have to install it. You have to assemble it, but it's really easy. It's like it takes you 2 minutes, and then you have to basically log into the app to put your Wi-Fi, and then everything then is automatic. And you can choose the display. I'm in no way paid by those guys. I don't even know who does it, by the way. Let's be honest. Let's be clear here. You can choose also what it shows you when an aircraft is detected by it. You can even have simply the photo of the aircraft. You could have, for me, I put like the origin, destination, the type of aircraft, and the current speed and how far away it is from my location. Plus, below here, there's a Lufthansa Frankfurt to London is landing. And on the very below here, it says Lufthansa. And it displays you it's silly, but it's fun, and I'm sure the audience of this podcast might be interested. So, yeah, so there you go. It's not cheap, but it's fun.
It's funny that oddly enough, on my feed this morning, that thing flew by me.
No way.
Exactly. I was like, so the fact that you're mentioning, I'm like, wow, Big Brother is watching. But
yeah,
about in just after actually our Rolls-Royce trip, so in early December, sitting one morning, and my wife comes flying down the stairs saying, "You need to check this out." I'm like, what's going on? So, my son, we have something called a Yoto player. You know, it's one of those interactive devices where you put cards in, it tells stories, it has access to songs, podcast, music, whatever. And she's like, check this out. So she activated this card or attached it to, I think it categorizes itself as a podcast, or maybe it's radio. And it is a live flight track scanner with a announcer, a theoretical air traffic control. I'm like, what? No, this can't be real. So it's more in the children's side. It's like, this is your air traffic control, so and so, and let's look for some jet planes. And it goes on, and then it, does some funny like radar sound. I'm like, okay, this has got to be a joke. No, it pulls from somewhere and it randomly selects something in the sky, and it makes this fun. It says there's an aircraft zooming, and it puts on the words because it's meant for a children audience. And it's real flights, almost like sort of verbalizing what the clock is pulling, not to that level, and it says powered by Captain. As I listen to them, I'm like, okay, they're just pulling random names. So fine. Like, there's no way this thing's going to know the name of the captain, but it was pulling real flights. So I would test it. It would pull something. I'd go on to Flight Radar. I'm like, yep, that is 100% correct.
Wow.
And then I was thinking, well, is this only localized to, my airport vicinity? And one day, randomly at lunch, I put it on for my own pleasure. And it pulled, I think it was an Emirates going from Dubai to LA or something like that, like something way up on full cruise, way out there. It was pulling a Turkish, maybe going into, I don't know, Seattle or something that's above me, but way up. So complete random luck of the draw. And what it is, it pulls 3 flights for the sake of the story of what it's doing for said children audience, and then it kind of wraps it up, and that's here. And then you can put it again and it'll do it again. It tells you the aircraft type, speed, and theoretical altitude that it's at. It's quite neat. And then obviously the destination.
I don't have kids, but I need that for me to fall asleep. It would be a nice, soothing hearing these aircrafts.
Yeah.
It's wonderful,
exactly. Man. Yeah, so it's really neat how this is all tying in together with.
It reminds me of that website we mentioned. I think it was pre-COVID, but now my mind is sketchy. But I'll put the note. I'll put it in the show notes. I've been the clouds or something, and it was. You could choose your ATC. You could choose your territory. It was playing some very soothing background music, and at the same time, you could hear a plane like real time, like this actual, real ATC plane talking to the tower, and it's really soothing. You could put it almost like as a background music when you work. I'll find the name and I'll put it in the show notes. And if I don't put it in the show notes, please berate me on social media, because it's very similar. That was a very geeky start of the show.
Totally.
Oh my God. But let's say
we
a
have
little
some
bit
flights
geeky.
to talk about, right?
Yeah, there's some flights, but let's take a little bit geeky before we move on to the flights, because 2026, as you said, Happy New Year, is a year that a few airlines are celebrating. The first I thought about and I saw is American. American is celebrating 100-year this year. And have you seen their special livery? Have you seen it?
Yeah.
What do you think about it?
It's okay.
Convinced.
It's fine. It's fine. It works.
Yeah, for those who haven't seen, I mean, of course you could Google it, but they put a big 100 in the front aft with the use of the logo of American is using between the two O of 100. And in the back, I think there's like 100 that is almost like, like a tattoo around the aircraft or something. It's okay. I don't think, guys, this is not a dig against American. I think it's okay, but I agree with you. It's not the most, because there's others, and that's where I'm coming now. There's the 80th anniversary of Cathay Pacific. Mm-hmm. So, of course, this is a bit different because instead of creating one, especially for the 80th, they've simply took the vintage route, so using one of the original, if not the
green,
original,
right?
the green light. Yeah. And the marketing material they put out is you have a 777, if I remember correctly, in front. In the back, you have a 74, of course, a cargo. And so it's green. So it's a for those who haven't seen, it's a long green line, very powerful green, and Cathay Pacific is written in red above it. It's like it's very it's kind of design you don't see anymore, and it's pretty cool. Of course, this is not, again, compared to American, they've not invented one. They've reused. It's a vintage one that, like, I've seen myself on.
It's a lot
Qatar
of retro.
Yeah, it's a retro livery,
right?
but it's still to celebrate their 80th. So why not? It's cool. Do you like that one? Do you like the green thing?
I do, that one, and maybe because I remember flying on that. When I was
are you that
child.
old?
I'm that old. And also, it's all memories of Kai Tak.
Yeah,
that green comes with it.
I've never experienced Kai Tak. That's my one. It's for me, it's an even bigger regret. Not a regret, but I mean a miss than Concorde. I would have rather, if I'd been given a choice, I would have rather landed and departed from Kai Tak than flying the Concorde. I know it's anathema for lots of listeners here. My brother was lucky enough to do Kai Tak. My brother is not into aviation at all. He doesn't, but he remembers that landing to this day. It was flying to Korea in the beginning of the 90s, I think. And he remember that. It's for him, not a nav geek at all, not interested in aviation at all. You see, like, it's one of these most crazy experiences you ever had. And
it's etched in memory, right?
Yeah. And like, yeah, and you try to recreate it by going to some of these, airports that are a bit crazy, but nothing can compare, I think, nowadays to this. Yeah, that drop. So,
The American, just going back to that American, the one thing I've still can't figure out is this whole use of the word flagship. They really keep that there. And if you don't know anything about airlines, you would think this is flagship airlines. No. Yeah. And it's a consistent theme, because I have actually a trip with American coming up. And they use that term throughout, especially when it comes to long haul and whatnot.
Yeah, and it's also flagship in front, and their lounges as well. There's a lot of use of the term flagship. I remember last time I flew American, which of course now slips on mind when it was. I remember that use in the marketing, telling you that you're going to be flying flagship, and the lounge will be flagship, and the menu will be flagship. I'm like, okay, I get it, right? It's going to be, I paid for it, so hopefully it's not going to be stupid.
Yeah, it's my flag.
So it's true. I didn't think about it, but you're right. Yeah, you're right. I think it's just, again, consistency in marketing they want, but I'm not going to say it's uninspired, but I don't think it is that. On the scale between good and bad. I don't think it's bad. I think this is a bit average. I think they could have done slightly better, especially because American, for me, growing up, going very seldomly, still going to the US when I was a kid, for me, that livery, because they, the brushed metal thing.
Full aluminum, right?
Yeah, that was, as a kid, was like, this is a Jetsons. I'm living in the future by seeing these aircraft, right? So
shining in the sky,
right? I understand they cannot really do that anymore simply because of carbon fiber. Like the new aircrafts are not. Maybe there's
nothing
a solution.
to shine.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe there's a solution. Maybe like painting chrome or something, but it would be way too heavy and way too expensive and maybe silly, actually, that I even think about that. But I'm like, comparing when you think about that and seeing this, you're like, it's okay, but it could be better. Yeah. The third airline I'm thinking about is the airline I'm going to start talking about is Lufthansa. Lufthansa is also celebrating their 100th anniversary. They started at Lufthansa. It was in 2 words back in the day. Delivery, have you seen it? What do you think about it?
Love it.
Yeah.
The words that come to mind are deadly.
it's true. So they have introduced a few years ago that darker blue and the white. They
And
use
the white.
white and
They
blue.
dropped the yellow, right?
Yeah, the yellow now is still just a little patch next to the door. But on those, that blue is everywhere. It's like 66%, like a 2/3 of the aircraft is in blue, and it's it's looks like a shark or something. There's something really regal about them. I mean, and they're in the marketing material, and also I've seen videos. They've done all the aircraft. So let's be clear, because I haven't checked. Is it all actual aircraft being painted and they flew them, or some of them were, they're using CGI to make them for the marketing material? I don't know. But they had, of course, the 320, but they had the 747, 800. They had the 380. Yeah, exactly. They had the Dreamliners, and they all in that livery. Of course, they're not going to repaint clearly all their aircraft because it's a celebration of their 100th anniversary. But you'll be lucky, hopefully, and I hope so, to be able to fly one of those. I know that it's a bit silly to say, because when you're inside, you don't even see them. You don't see the livery when you're in the aircraft, but they look really damn cool. I like them. And I received the email because I fly. Do you fly of Lufthansa from time to time, or
I do.
Currently? I mean,
yeah. I haven't flown them for a few years, just before pandemic. But yeah, they're definitely in my top of selection when it comes to looking at options. Yeah.
Plus, you're at Canada, so you're Star Alliance anyway. So it's
it naturally kind of jumps into the algorithm when I'm looking at stuff.
Your own algorithm. My mind is locked into some airlines. I will not say which ones, but when I do a search on either Google Flights, Skyscanner, all these things, there's some airlines I remove. That's like, I don't want to fly this.
Yes.
So, but sometimes it's not that I don't like the airlines. Sometimes it's like it makes no sense to me. I'd rather fly with a more, So exactly. Lufthansa, as you know, I've flown them quite often. I said that I received an email. So that's because I fly them, because I'm still frequent flyer, which is our silver with them. I received an email. I'm sure everybody received the email, not only the silver and Han and whatever, but the email said, celebrating the 100th anniversary. Nice email, marketing spiel. And the thing that made me really chuckle is that they're promising a better passenger experience. And my description that is upcoming, and you've understood if you've listened to the previous episodes, because I basically spoiled it. I flew Allegris, so their new business class. The description is one of the sentences under the acronym FOX, FOXX, like a fox, short for Future Onboard Experience. Wow. We are taking on the holistic redesign of our long-haul experience in all 4 travel classes, in all our aircraft, whether or not they have Allegris on board. The renewal of our fleet is also proceeding at pace. We expect to take delivery of a new aircraft every 2 weeks in 2026. And Lufthansa Allegris will be available on many more routes. More choice, more comfort, even more personalized service. And in business class, they say you can look forward, among other things, to an expanded breakfast concept with fresh, varied options, new signature dishes. They all say that. They all have signature dishes. And Sky Delights, that's a term because it's in between brackets, so I guess it's a branding term, which is a second meal that you can select individually when it suits you. And more. So basically, they're improving. And for someone who lives in London, it doesn't get that kind of promises by BA, which is trying to do brunch and then removing the hot meal on some short haul and saying, well, you know what, the crew doesn't have time. And all the short haul I've done with BA, the short ones, London to Paris, which is, as soon as you level, they rush through the service and the finish, which I understand must be stressful. I'm not saying here that the crew, but it feels like that BA is mostly doing it for costs, to cut costs, not because they listen to their crew. So when I read an email like that from Lufthansa, it's very refreshing. They're trying to offer more stuff. I'm like, yeah, please.
Yeah, you'll take it. Absolutely.
You'll take it. So Lufthansa, New York, Munich, and to London. So I spoiled it. So Allegris, this is the whole reason I wanted to, the reason I flew United to go there was an happenstance because I wanted to fly Allegris and I couldn't find a back and forth Allegris to New York that suited me with miles as well. So I was trying not to pay crazy prices. So, but as soon as I saw that I was able to find the return with Allegris, I said, okay, let's go for it. And then I found United to go there. And as you know,
because you booked the return first.
No, actually, I booked them as a single ticket using miles, but because they're Star Alliance, Lufthansa was selling United, so it worked really well. Yeah,
nice.
Because when you book from London, of course, Lufthansa, if you go on simply their website, they will fly you through Frankfurt to Munich by definition. But if you use miles, of course, they will offer you partner airlines as well as options. So this is why I had United on the way there and Lufthansa on the way back. The reason I mentioned United, of course, you've heard guys that I liked it, is suddenly, and I didn't expect that, now we'll have something to measure them against because they'll say, since United were that good, can Lufthansa Allegris be as good, better than, or worse, of course, than United? So you have to listen to the next 40 minutes to know that. So maybe when you saw the announcement and maybe the pictures of that Allegris business class, what did you think about them? Like, first thought?
I thought it was great to see because, their product was long overdue for a refresh. It's been around for dinosaur ages.
100 years, Tom, maybe not.
Yeah, pretty much. I was like, okay, well, they're catching up with the time. But, in a very Lufthansa way, it was never really over the top splash. But it was also functional, modern. I was like, okay, well, this looks promising. But then, the whole weight issue and, the plane can't take off because the product's too heavy. I was like, okay, well, what are you going to sacrifice here? What's going to go? So yeah, I'm fascinated to hear as to what the actual product really is like.
Actually, we'll start with that. Actually, let's start with that. So yeah, so the Allegris is currently only available on their 350 and a few, not the ones that they already had, the ones they received lately. And it's only flying so far from Munich. I think they started some Frankfurt routes. It's really limited because, of course, they started onboarding the
Vancouver has it too, actually. The Vancouver Munich route. Know that.
So yeah, I haven't. My data dates back from the time I was checking and I was looking online, and there was like 3 routes only. And of course, now they've probably increased them, which is why there's probably also Allegris now from Frankfurt. But back a few months ago, 8 months ago, it was only from Munich, which, by the way, if you know, I know it's a running joke in this podcast. I don't hate Frankfurt, but, I don't like Frankfurt either. So I was very happy to have to go to Munich because it's an airport I like. So I was like, okay, yeah, good. But since you mentioned, so Allegris is coming on the the Dreamliner -9. But only the business class. There won't be a first class. On the 350-900, they will have the Allegris. On the 350-1000, the Allegris is coming, and on the XXX, whenever that one is coming. No dig at Boeing, but it slipped again. So maybe 2027. Hopefully, the first ones will arrive. And they will retrofit the current 350-9 that don't have the Allegris. So on those aircraft, you'll be guaranteed to have the new business class.
But not on the 748.
That's a very interesting thing. So the 748, you'll have Allegris, but only on the lower deck. So on the upper deck, you'll have the old. So this is a huge conundrum because I love being the upper deck.
Yeah.
But if you're giving me the choice, right?
Oh. This is a painful one. Do you want modern?
What I've heard, and I don't know, I don't have any in Lufthansa. I mean, I know a few guys there, but I didn't ask either personally or for this podcast. But what I've heard is that there's a space constraint that doesn't allow the creation of the same Allegris on the upper deck. what they call phase 4, because apparently when phase 3 looks like the Marvel universe here. I don't know which phase they are, but that's a bit phase. On phase 4, which God knows where that's going to happen, they might actually refurbish also the upper deck from the 747. But the fact that they are, and all know the 800, by the way, because they still have the 747-400, this will not be, of course, refurbished, because they're retiring them. It's interesting for you because you like that aircraft as I do. In 2028, that's I think Lufthansa said now that in 2028 there will be the last flights on their 747-400. So this is nothing to do with Allegris, but if you want to fly them on the Dash 8, the fact that they are actually refurbishing only one floor and not the upper deck means that it's not going to be tomorrow, because they wouldn't, you put the aircraft in refurbishment to 3 months later to the upper deck. So it's going to be a very weird situation where only one of the cabins, of the business cabins, will be with the Allegris and the old one will be upstairs. I don't know what I would do, to be honest. I have no idea. The 380, interestingly, will have a new business class, but not Allegris, which is like, so look, exactly, look at your face.
But why? Why?
Look, I don't know, because it feels like in the 380 you'd have room to build. It's a large aircraft,
4 engines, more power.
Because it's always been like, if you look at Qatar Q Suite, which nothing to do with 380, but you look at a Qatar Q Suite, it's on the 350 and it's on the 777, and the 2 versions on the 350. When they had issues was on the Dreamliners, because Dreamliners are slightly narrower.
That's right.
And they decided to not have the same Q Suite. They have something they call the Q Suite, but it's not a
It's almost like mini Q, or like
mini Q. So here, Lufthansa tells you, we'll have Allegris in the Dreamliners, so they're able to do it, but for some reason they're not able to do in the 380. Or, let's be honest, it's maybe because even though they haven't announced, maybe they are planning to retire the 380 within 5-something years, and they say it's silly to actually refurbish and
retrofit that whole thing.
Yeah. But they still retrofit with a new business class, but maybe something, it's more standard. I think it's a Thomson Vantage something. It's something you see in many aircraft nowadays. So it's still going to be better.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be Allegris. If you fly the 380 with Lufthansa, you're going to get a better seat than currently, and also a better first, apparently, than currently. Actually, see, the first will stay the same in the 380, but they will upgrade the tech. So probably better screens, I guess.
Screens and okay. Yeah.
So anyway, it's the reason I mentioned all this, because it's going into nitty-gritty detail, is that the hope was at some point with Lufthansa that you would move on from an old product and go to a new product, but they ending up confusing a little bit their product line, because you'll have multiple different type of business class, and depending on the aircraft and the routes, you might not have it and have it. So I get it, and eventually when the 777X arrives, the 380 is retired, and it'll be fine. But I'm just saying it's a bit confusing, because confusing is the name of the game when you're trying to book the seats on so I knew about it, right? But I was like, how many choices do I have? Like, I'm guessing, when you book a seat, what are your main criteria, Vinod? Whether it's in business or in economy, what do you care about yourself?
Comfort.
Yeah.
Exact location in aircraft in terms of proximity to galley, lavatory, this type of thing. If it's wide body, like where in the Méliès? I'm not a aft flyer. I want to be in the forward. Is it going to be a threshold to another class? Am I going to get my knee taken out by a potential cart or not?
Wow.
Yeah, this all kind of comes into play. But for the most part, it's comfort, and also me operating and staying comfortable depending on how I interact with my seatmate, that I may be a stranger.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
And if you fly business class, of course, there's many different types of business class. You opt, and let's say you fly alone, because family is always different, of course, right? Or even simply a couple. You might choose like center seats, because you have these, usually nowadays you have these in business class. You have these, the couples that are in the middle. I mean, the duo seats or whatever you want to call them. So you opt for a window? Do you care about that if you fly by yourself or not?
I try to go for window. My general feel is if I'm paying or upgrading or being in business class, I want to just alcove. I want to create my own V suite, not Q suite, V suite, virtual suite.
Vinod suite.
Yeah, exactly. And what I mean by that is by the window obviously gives you a better chance at that. But I don't necessarily want to be like in the front, near the galley, by the action, because as I know from experience, that's where the crew, the purser may have their setup. They may have things going on. I just want to be midfield so that when the lights go out, it is truly dark around me and I can enjoy my seat, whether I'm going to lie flat, whether I'm going to enjoy the movie. But also, and very common now, where they're going to split, the business class between the doors, and then the last row business class buttles up against premium economy or economy. I don't want to be anywhere near that. No, if I'm going to be in business class, I want to be in business class. I want to come in the door and turn to the left, or I want to be able to use a door one if there is a door one to use. So I try my best to stay
like a
forward,
right?
Yeah.
No, I get that. I'm never been bothered by the noise of the galley. Plus, anyway, I usually have noise cancelling. I understand the sentiment. I'll never be bothered. I will and then I'll go back to Lufthansa. I will sometime, if there's two cabins, like you just mentioned, I will try sometimes to opt for the smaller of the two.
Okay.
Often it seems that it's the smaller of the two is the second one if there's two. Emirates was because I flew a lot Emirates in the 2010s as my flight test. I was for Emirates all the time, which is why I had a lot of years with 380s, the most flown aircraft, because it's just more quiet in general, I find. However, being more in the back, and that never happens with Emirates specifically, but could lead to your choice of food is not available. I mean, so that's sometimes. But anyway, let's go back. So, see, your answer is more elaborate than I thought.
You mentioned that one last thing about that small cabin. Another reason I avoid it is the chances of an illegal visitor is higher, meaning someone from one of the behind classes thinking they can come up and use your lavatory. This is getting really snobbish, but
oh God,
if you're in that forward, you're going to get the nicely decorated, amenitied lavatory access, and there's probably one behind. But yeah, I don't want traffic. I just want to be in my own.
I get it. No, fair enough. Fair enough. I get it, man. It's just, it's a lot. It's a common thing with people. And I'm sorry for any one of you that is listening to this podcast, might never flown business class. You
that have walked
these guys
forward
are the
to get to that bathroom.
Bastards ever trying to avoid to be with the paupers. Nah. But I do understand because flying business class, even for me that has flown it very often, stays a treat. So in the definition of a treat is, and it's often, I know it's clients' money many times, but sometimes it's me using miles to upgrade myself. So they're my own miles and my clients' miles. So it's true that when it happens, you want to create a nice environment. But the thing is, going in front of that booking by Lufthansa, because as I just mentioned that they will end up having multiple different business classes. Simply on Allegris, you'll have multiple different types of seats, and there's so many, man. So you have the classic. They call the names. I think they're correct, but there might be some names that I name myself. So please don't use this as a reference. But the classic, which is a fake window, so you're still on the side, but your side table is between you and the window, right?
Okay.
There's 4 of those, I think, in the cabin. You have the classic last row, which only exists in the second cabin. That doesn't exist in the first part of the first cabin. The reason that is called classic last row is that these ones are more storage than classic. But apparently, because I haven't tried, the footwell is worse. Then you have the middle classics. So there's 2 and 2, and apparently the footwell is bad. Then you have something called the extra long bed. There's 2 per cabin. They're in the middle, so not on the windows. They're 20 centimeters more, So of course, it's more for people that are very tall. It is apparently more comfortable, and apparently the footwell is. I keep mentioning the footwell because for someone like me who's not only tall but has large feet, the footwell, when they're super small, you cannot move around, right?
Yes.
Then they have the extra space, which is a throne seat, which is in the middle. There's two per cabin, I think, as well. The footwell is horrendous, apparently. You're like in a tunnel, your feet go into a tunnel because, of course, in front of you probably have two seats. There's two per cabin. Of course, the throne has the advantage of these large two side tables on both sides of you. Then you have the privacy seat, which they call it the privacy seat, but it's basically a true window seat. So you have an actual window next to you. There's two per cabin. Then you have the privacy seat with baby. So that's only 7A and 7K. So only one per cabin, I think. There's more space in a normal privacy. It's complicated telling me. There's more space in a normal privacy one. They do not exist in the second cabin. No, so there's two. It's only in the front cabin, not in the second one. And of course, these are for cot for babies. Then you have the double suite. The double suite is in the front, in the middle. It's two people, and it's a larger space. And then you have the suite, which there's two per cabins. They're basically 1A. I don't know if it's 1 or 2. Yeah, 1A and 1F, I guess. And on the second cabin, I guess the first two as well on the front of the cabin on the window side. These are the more luxurious. That's what they call suite. But man, it's exactly. You're like, what? And by the way, that's the thing that. All these steps, all these different options, you have to pay for them. So you book your flight, and I think the only one that is given to you for free, but I might be wrong, is a classic, which is this kind of fake window, which you buy. You basically your head is close to the aisle. You're on an aisle, but you still have the side table and the window for you. The side table is just the size of the window. So it's a very narrow side table with the window. And you also, this is the other thing that is weird. Some of the seats, you're purely forward, and some of the seats, you're angled. So this is one of the angled one where your head, if you want, is closer to the window. Your feet are closer to the aisle. It's fine, by the way. I'm sure it's fine. I'm just saying that when you present it with a seat map, and the only ones are, the classics are the only ones, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure I'm not mistaken, that are, you don't have to pay for. And all the other options I've just given you, you have to pay for them. And so not only it's confusing because you're like, okay, I want a window, but now I have a choice between a privacy seat, which is one type of window, and I have a choice with a suite, which is another type of window, and another. And you're like, how am I supposed to choose, man? Right? It's It just creates a bit, and maybe it's just a habit. If you're a heavy flyer with Lufthansa, you'll just used to it and find your type of favorite seat. But compared to all the other business class I've ever flown, I spent 2 hours choosing my seat, man. I was like, I don't know. What should I choose? And then also simply the fact that I didn't also want to pay too much money. Of course, the suites are the most expensive. So basically, the let's call them 1A and 1F. If you're alone, or the middle one, if you want to be two, or there's a divider. You could be by yourself, of course. These are like the most luxurious options. They run almost like a 600 or 700, I think, euros on top of what you already paid. Yeah, right, exactly. So it's expensive.
Wow.
And the thing is, some airlines have done this. Those airlines who do not have a first class, and I'm thinking Virgin has done it. I know I've flown it. JetBlue has done it. Their first row, they've done a slightly more luxurious version of compared to the rest of their business class, simply because also just the layout.
To capture a bit of a first feeling almost.
Yes. But here, there's a first class. So you're like, at some point, do I want to pay 600, 700 more, or do I actually pay for first class? I didn't check the probably first class is way more expensive, right? But what I'm trying to say is that it's simply very confusing when you need to choose a seat.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, if I think a thread that we've talked about in this podcast for years, the unbundling of the flying experience, we can pick and choose what you want. it's probably what a decade ago someone at Lufthansa thought. They said, you know what, we're going to unbundle. Like, if you want a normal seat, you don't pay anything. You have a good seat, but you don't pay anything. And if you want a slightly better experience, you pay a little bit more. If you have a slightly better experience, you pay a little bit more. If you want a sweet experience, you pay more. If you're very tall and you want an extra long bed, you pay more. I get it. It's just very confusing.
I wonder how many people are actually consciously paying and saying, okay, maybe the extra tall is the one I can see, but the rest, if you're not a navvy, not that you need to be a navvy, but or if you're not necessarily a huge frequent flyer, you're going to be just happy as heck with a business class seat. And
right.
Classic, non-classic, privacy.
Apparently some of them are worse than others. Some of them are like okay in terms of comfort, but not. I've heard, because I've not tried them all, obviously, I've heard that some are just okay. I'm not saying they're bad, but I'm saying some are like, for the price, do I want this? Which also creates, and then I'll move on, but it also creates a thing for people like you and me that care about the scene. In pretty much all the other airlines, yes, do I check the seat map before I make a booking on Expert Flyer, for instance? I do. But generally, it's just to see, are there still some window seats? Are there still seats on the sides, basically, right? This is all I do. Here, I would say, maybe the flight is almost fully booked, and what remains is one of the options I don't like. And then I'm like, so what do I do now?
To secure it, yeah.
So it's really... Anyway, so I ended up, go back to the story, because I don't want to make that too long. I ended up paying for the privacy seat. So it's a seat with window, basically. I think I got 3A, if I'm not mistaken. So I have a window, and I heard that the footwell was nice, and I'm like, and I paid 180, I think I paid pounds, 180 pounds. So let's say $200 to make it simple. I had to pay, and I'm sorry, I had to pay. I was willing to pay because I really wanted a proper window. So I took that, and I'm like, okay, this is what. But just to say, it was confusing. So I'm in New York, to go a bit faster with the story. I'm in New York, as you've heard in the podcast, a trip that turned out amazing compared to all the stress I had for the shutdown. I thought nothing would work, and actually I didn't have any issue going to the US. Everything was super smooth. The airport, the airline, United in that case, everything was well. So, and I had 2 weeks there. It was amazing. The conference was amazing. I also had the fiasco for Marriott, the hotel chain, just closing 3 days before I fly there. But it was 2 weeks of bliss. Spent between Midtown, where I was working at the conference. I was a co-creator of, was a huge success. But then I did stuff like MoMA, which I hadn't done in like 20 years. And I went to an opening of the Studio Museum in Harlem, and so it was really, really fantastic. And I went to Brooklyn just for the Gino's pizza. It's my favorite. It's opposite the Barclays Center. It's my favorite sliced pizza in New York. However, I've heard it's closing because there's some new development because of the Barclays Center. I don't know if that's true, but yeah, very, very, very sad. Anyway, I'm very happy. I still have this feeling like, okay, the shutdown is over. Everything is being rejiggled. I'd rather be not too late at JFK Terminal 1 in case, there's, I don't know, maybe there's still, remnants of the whole thing. So I'm like, I'm going 4 hours in advance. The day before, I'm checking in. So on the app of Lufthansa is very good. They've kept improving it, and I really like it. It's a very, very good app. Sorry. And I'm like, maybe there's another seat that maybe because we're 24 hours before, maybe one of these very more expensive seats are like, you can just select them for free. No. I mean, what they told me that's the thing. They're very good. It's like the suite, so the 1A if you want, or the 1F. The suite, so the 4 suites were available: 1A, 1F, 8A, 8F. Yeah, I think it's 8, not 7. Doesn't matter. But anyway, these seats were free because, of course, they're like nearly $600. I mean, like, who in the right mind will take them? And they offer me. They say, "Do you want it? We offer you a special price that's $588." I'm like, $588? No way. No, nah. Nope.
That's great.
But plus, and also thinking, and that's something I still don't know how it would work. I paid $180 for my seat. If I take another seat, do they reimburse me the seat? Aha, I don't know. I don't think so, but
I
I
don't
don't
think
know.
so. I think that's
You're
where
right.
they
I
get
don't
you.
think so, but I don't want to put Lufthansa under the bus because I don't know. Maybe they would have. But I'm like, I'm liberating the seat I paid for. If I pay for another, do you make up for the difference? I have no idea. Anyway, so I said, of course, I didn't go for there. Interestingly, just little parenthesis, they didn't offer me a potential, like an offer or simply to upgrade to first. That didn't exist. Like let's say I have plenty of cash that I won on the Atlantic City. I didn't go to Atlantic City, but let's pretend I have so much money. No, there's no offer on the app to go on first class. So I don't know how much it would have been. And I know, I'm jumping ahead, I know they were free because when I passed by it, they were free. So I'm early at the airport. I said, JFK Terminal 1. Do you know this terminal? Have you flown it either recently or often?
Not recently, but I have flown into it for a Lufthansa flight as well. It's an interesting place. Actually, no, I Lufthansa and I think Air France, and does Virgin go out of that one as well?
I've never flown Virgin to the US. I don't know.
Walking up to, just the name Terminal 1 JFK.
Yeah.
You expect this grand, big behemoth. And funnily enough, it's not. But the size of and profile of flights that they pack into it is incredible. Yeah. Like all the classics, they show up there. I just remember the check-in area was packed. And for me, there was an interesting point of a lounge. But maybe I'll let you talk about that first.
No, well, yeah, maybe. So yeah, I've flown it many times, different airlines, and it's not the greatest. It's not the greatest terminal at JFK. I haven't checked. I should have probably. I think that airlines like Lufthansa are moving. I think that Terminal 7-8 is becoming Terminal 8 or Terminal 7, and Terminal 1 will be torn down. I mean, there's something like that. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Just Google it, guys. But I think this is part of the grand refurbishment of JFK. So I think the days of T1 might be nearing the end, which is probably a good thing because, so I'm early, which is also why I came early to the terminal because like every time I went there, it was not that great. Especially TSA lines were always super busy.
No matter what class.
Exactly, that's the thing.
There's no way around it.
Right, you're like, So I arrive at the check-in counter from Lufthansa because I had a suitcase. I rarely do this, but I had a suitcase. So, and I arrive and they say, no, you're too early. You cannot check in your luggage. God, I was 4 hours early. I'm like, oh my God. So yeah, I'm like, okay, when should I come back? I'll come back in 20 minutes. So I went for a coffee and walked aimlessly into nothing because
there's nowhere to go. So, I mean, I guess you could ride the air train around in a circle, but
well, for 20 minutes, no, I wanted to stay. So I'm like, okay, so I'm staying there. And when I get back, probably a sign that and this is not a dig, but the Germans, like the Swiss, are very good at timing. I come back and there's already more than 10 minutes queue. I'm like in business class. I'm like, how? Where were these people 20 minutes ago? There was no one when I went. It's only I should have stayed in front of the line instead of wandering around.
They were all there on the sides waiting for the clock to tick.
Exactly. Anyway, it doesn't matter. There's a 10-minute queue or whatever. Interestingly, because you were ground staff, I'm overhearing there's someone checking in first class next to me, the next counter. Very fancy luggage, and he has 3 items that he wants to take on board, and 2 of them are like literally little pouches, like not 2 or 3 carry-ons or anything. And the ground staff tells him TSA will only allow you to pass through with 2 items. You need right.
Yes, TSA is going to enforce this.
TSA will not allow you to pass with 3 items. You need to consolidate into 2. And literally there was 1 small, like a kind of a backpack and 2 pouches. These fancy pouches, probably Gucci or whatever. Yeah. I was like, okay, so he put 1 in the backpack, I think it kind of, but I was like, really? 3?
Interesting.
Is it it's interesting. I had never heard about it. Maybe guys in the US.
Yeah. Because
maybe you're used to it.
Security doesn't, they just put whatever's on the tray and
that's what I thought. But, or maybe the ground staff was looking for an excuse. I don't know. Anyway, so that was just a parenthesis. So I'm checking in, and then I'm looking at the queues of TSA, and I'm like, oh my God. Like you just said, there's no.
It's like this long, flat, like it's the whole width of the terminal.
Yes. And I'm like, oh, and there's people and everybody's shouting.
Yes,
and
yes,
God. Oh my God. And it's cramped because there's no room to create these lines. So they kind
the
of
lights are
them.
blaringly bright.
Yeah, it's just like, I'm like, okay. So I'm ahead. So I'm not really worried. I'm not worried at all about being late. And like, I just don't want to do this. But I'm like, at first, I'm like, oh, I'm not gold anymore. Maybe no, it doesn't matter. No matter if you, like you said, if you're gold, first class, whatever, you have to go through this line of security. So I just said, I'm not gold anymore. But that day, that fateful day in November 2025 is when I struck gold a few times in a row, 3 times in a row. Man, what turned out, we're looking at this TSA line to be what could have been a very bad wait times. Everything became magical. Let me go through it. So I'm there pondering, should I wait for this TSA line to maybe if I come like 20 minutes later, there'll be less, it's kind of, you're negotiating with yourself. I'm like, this line is super long, but maybe if I come 20 minutes later, I get another coffee outside. Maybe by that time, there'll be slightly less people and, whatever. And I'm there, so I'm not in line. I'm just with my backpack looking at the line with desperate eyes. And I hear someone passing in front of me, a ground staff, not from Lufthansa, ground staff from the airport. And she says to a couple, priority pass? Oh, hold on. Hold that thought because the gold started earlier. How would I forgot this? No. I struggle. I'm at check-in. This is where there's...
Okay. Back to the check-in.
Pardon me, because I don't have notes. I'm doing for memory. I'm at check-in. Gold. I'm not gold on Star Alliance anymore, but that's where the gold starts. I'm so lucky. I'm at check-in. And I look at the girl, and she says, she's not printed my boarding pass yet. I'm like, what seats are available still? Of course, during the 20 minutes I was outside with a coffee waiting for the check-in to open, I checked if there were seats available. The 4 suites were the 4 suites available, the most expensive one, the one that's $600 or whatever, $700, they're available. And I'm like, I might just try my luck. So I'm like, and it's a stupid line, the one I use, but I said, I'm not sure of the seat I have because my assistant booked it for me. My assistant's myself. It's so meaning, can you just check and tell me? And she tells me, I don't know, 2A, 3A, I don't remember which one I had booked. And I'm like, is there anything else available? And I specifically say, like 8A or 8K, are they available? And she says, oh, yeah, do you want it? And I'm like, yeah. And click. She taps on a computer, and that's it for free. I'm getting the suite at $700 for free.
For free.
It was
quietly walk away.
Like, In my head, I'm like, I'll believe it when I see it. She doesn't have my credit card. She cannot charge it. So there you go. So I basically ended up having the suite, the best seat in Allegris for free. And
just because you asked.
So because I asked. So here is a theory. It's not maybe at that point, their policy is like, whatever. We're not going to upsell the seats now. It's 3 hours, 4 hours before the flight. Look, if some, or she was not trained or the computer never said no. And never said, oh, you need to pay for it. So basically, I got it for free. So that's gold number 1. So then I go to that line, the TSA line, where I was looking for desperate eyes. And I'm like, oh, God. And I see the ground staff, and there's a couple, and she calls a couple and says, are you priority pass? And the couple says, yeah, follow me. And I'm like, what's going on here? Because I have priority pass. I'm like, was this a new thing? Whatever. And I'm like, so I follow the couple following the ground stuff. I'm like, what do I have to lose? I'm just going to check what happens.
Yeah.
There is a landside lounge, so it's not airside, called VIP 1, which apparently I've learned afterwards has just been onboarded as part of the Priority Pass program. So the point is, you go there, you have a lounge, and then you cross TSA. However, this lounge has, man, they have their own access to the TSA line. And so I go there because I don't even have to pay. It's priority pass. I see the landside lounge. I cannot, guys, review it, whatever. It's not that big, but I'm sure if you're very early, why not? You're, before having a boarding pass, it's a great thing. But the greatest thing ever, man. She says, do you want to stay in the lounge or do you want to go directly to security? I'm like, yeah, no, go directly to security. And the door opened. First, there's a staff coming. They bring you the tray while you're still in the lounge, the actual tray from TSA. So you put your stuff, you remove your belt in the lounge. So you're not stressed by the queue behind you. You put your stuff, your whatever you have to put outside. Then with you, they come with that's I don't know VIP. That's in the name, but they take the tray. I'm like, I can hold it. No. We take the tray for you. They take the tray, open that glass door that leads you right in the front of the TSA queue. You're literally in the front. I saved 45 minutes.
Like you're in the front of the whole pack.
Of the whole pack, in front of the actual machine. And she puts the tray on, before the it's just tables, so it's not automatically going into the X-ray. So I'm staying next to her. She says, no, you can go. I'm like, no, but I need to push it. I'm like, you have to go. Don't worry. We'll make sure that your stuff passes X-ray. You can just wait on the other side. So I go through, of course, nothing bings, and I can see her. She's waiting with my tray until my tray goes under the X-ray machine.
And then walks away.
Because that's part of the service. I'm like, what just happened here? Not only I gained 45 minutes of not having to do the queue, I have my own space to put the stuff on the tray without, the whole, it's really, and then she carries the whole tray through TSA for me and stays with my belonging to protect them. And, I have an expensive camera. And she was like, don't worry, it's there. And not that I don't trust TSA, whatever. I'm just saying that in terms of quality of service, I'm like, what's that? So if you have priority pass,
Day of the Unicorn or something.
Yes, if you have priority pass and you are at T1 at JFK, guys, VIP one, you just look for it. It's just amazing because the TSA itself was still, that little time that I had to spend in it was still bad because it's cramped and everybody's shouting, but I literally spent only 3 minutes. And out of the 3, 2.5 was just waiting for my tray to actually go through before because there was this line of other trays. I don't know what. It's just amazing. And then, that's strike 2 of gold. So first, the seat for free, then this VIP thing, and then, which I didn't know, because of course, if I had known, I would tell you guys, I'm smarter than you. You should know. No, I just heard ground staff saying, priority pass, follow me. Like, I'm going to follow this
if you'd missed that.
If I had missed that, I would have been and I would have never learned about it. Wow. And then the lounge, so Lufthansa's lounge, and maybe that's the one Lufthansa's lounge, as soon as you finish security, on your left, it's the door. So she's right there. You don't have to walk anywhere in the terminal. It's literally right there. I hesitated for a second. I think I could access, Turkish and a few other Star Alliance's lounges, but I'm like, I'm Lufthansa, let's go. And so I arrive there. She scans my boarding pass, which is fine. And then she says, and I don't know if it's just something they say to everyone. It's probably it. But she says, are you an Amex Platinum card holder? And I'm like, yeah. And I said in my head, I'm like, is it written on my face? Or is it maybe the fact that 8K the suite, it's written on my boarding pass? Because, that's the expensive seat. I don't know. Or maybe that's something they say to everyone. He says, oh, in that case, you can go upstairs to the senator lounge. Welcome, sir. So I'm not a senator anymore. I'm not gold anymore. The ground floor, if you want, lounge was packed, really packed. And apparently I've read reviews that it's always packed.
Yeah.
But because I'm
you're just going in as business class.
Business class. But because I'm an Amex, I have to pay for Amex. I didn't know they had probably have some agreement. I took the stairs. There's also an elevator, of course. I took the stairs up and I had a lounge where we were like 3 people. How better could that experience at JFK happen, man? I was like, the hell,
Wow.
there's a bar and there's food. I mean, is it the best lounge ever? No, it's not. And
there
you
was
can
only
see
3 people.
probably, to be fair with Lufthansa, because of the move they'll do, I don't know when it's going to happen, maybe in 1 year or something, they might not want to overinvest in that lounge, but because I was by myself, I had a sofa and there was views. I could see aircraft in front of me. I was super happy. I saw like a Swiss 333. I saw 2 Air France as well, I think, and I saw a 747 cargo, and I was like super like I'm by myself almost, and I can. So I was like, this is the best JFK experience I ever had, and it's just out of course, it's not luck because I still have to had American Express, and I still had to all this. Yeah. I don't think I ever had such a good experience at JFK. So now that I've said that, have you ever had such a good experience at T1?
No. But it's funny you mentioned this VIP lounge because that is the lounge. It used to be the Lufthansa lounge. And I don't know if it was a multi-airline lounge. Because and now that I'm thinking back, I looked at my flight, it's been 15 years for this particular incident.
Yeah.
And the why it stands out is, I'd come in to do training actually with BA of all things. And I did a hop across the ocean for a quick, I think it was like come see the Christmas markets.
Nice.
That time of year. And it was flying on a Lufthansa 74. And I had Star Alliance Gold at the time. So I was like, okay, great. Lounge. And some sort of new colleague that I had met, saying, I was like, oh, I'll come to the terminal with you just to chat. And I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. So me and this guy check in. I'm like, yeah, lounge. She's like, yeah, it's just over there pre-security, the land side one.
That's the one.
I was like, oh, interesting. Oh, okay, that's new. And then I kind of discovered why this new friendly coworker wanted to come with me. He's like, oh, I'm going to come in with you. I'm like, excuse me, what? But you're not a passenger. He's like, doesn't matter. You're allowed to guest.
Yeah. Oh. And it's your airside, so yeah.
Well, it's landside.
Oh, sorry, landside is what I'm sorry, pardon me. Yeah.
And he was adamant of coming in. I'm like, okay, I see what's going on here, but fine. But this is all very fascinating. So I go in, boarding pass. I'm like, I have a guest with no boarding pass. And they said, yep, no problem. And then we went, and guy just wanted free beer. That's fine, whatever.
Yeah,
enjoyed a beer. And that must be the same physical. No, there was no like access to TSA or anything. That's obviously a much more recent build out.
And by the way, it's I think you must be right. I had never done the Lufthansa lounge before, so it was my first experience. But location wise, that VIP one is exactly the continuation of the current Lufthansa lounge. So maybe I don't know.
Maybe they show the kitchen in the back or something.
Exactly. There's something. Right? They're very close to each other. Not that it's a very big terminal, but and that door, that special VIP door to get in front of everybody, is literally at the entrance of the VIP lounge. So what it simply did is that when you enter, what apparently was the Lufthansa lounge before, at the front desk, you could go on your left to enter the lounge, or directly there's a door which is the very end of the queue of, or the very start of the queue, whatever you want to call it, in front of the X-ray machines of TSA. Yeah. I've read since that this VIP one only exists at T1, so all the other terminals don't have it. So really,
okay.
Maybe it's just because, like you just said, maybe it's simply someone thought, okay, we have this lounge available because Lufthansa maybe vacated it. Let's create something out of this. Because I don't think it was not a design that was thought by when they created the terminal. Somebody, but anyway, as long as T1 exists, which I'm hearing again that its days are counted. If you have priority pass, you can access, and you probably can also, and I haven't checked, but you can probably also maybe buy a pass. The benefit,
that's what I'm thinking, probably monetizing on it.
Yeah, but the benefit is really you in front
that's
of
great.
Everyone. So no need for pre-say, pre-clear, all these things, which I'm sure a lot of U.S. travelers have. But as a foreigner, of someone who doesn't live in the U.S., pardon me, it doesn't come enough to
you wouldn't have
justify the whole TSA the interview, the thing. I'm like, this is wonderful. I mean, this is absolutely wonderful. And the lounge, again, the lounge by Lufthansa, I mean, it's a kind of run-of-the-mill Lufthansa lounge, nothing special. But, they have as Lufthansa does, they have the Weiss beer on draft. You can serve your own beer, which is always nice. And you have the pretzel, and you have views, which is nice. So really, they have gummy bears and M&Ms, and then you have nice food as well. I didn't want to eat because, of course, I'm about to enter Allegris. I'm like, I want to see what's going to happen.
Suite.
Like the suite. Interestingly, by the way, Priority Pass gets you access as well to if you're not business, whatever. Priority Pass gets you access to the Lufthansa lounge. Of course, the business section, not the Senator where I was at. And I think you can also, like I said, Turkish, Air France, and Korean. I've read that you can, no matter the airline. I find it strange that if I'm flying Lufthansa, Air France will say, "Yeah, please come in because you have Priority Pass." But apparently that's the case. So you can spread your choice of lounges. But once I was sat down, had a beer, and I was looking at aircrafts and beautiful with the sun setting, I was like, it was 5-6 p.m. at that time. I'm like, I'm staying there. I'm not going to go like lounge hopping just for the podcast. I'm very happy where I'm at. So, and then, before I leave the lounge, it was pretty, downstairs was rammed and there's more people because it was early, but suddenly I hear on the tannoy that they're announcing the boarding of the flight to Frankfurt, which doesn't have Allegris. And I'm like, ha, you guys don't have Allegris and you all have to leave and suddenly the lounge is empty. So it's really, really, could their day be worse? They don't have Allegris and they have to fly to Frankfurt. So then from the window, I see my 359 arriving, Leverkusen. The 350 is still a very elegant aircraft. And gate 4, and the gates, man, that I'm sure this is fucking disaster. Pardon my French here. It's a disaster. I'm just
this long row and
they try to make do with the multiple groups. So I was group 2, and so there's a line which basically
and then the shops that are like right there against it.
So I arrive and I'm like, where am I supposed to go? There's one line the opposite end. There's one line here, and people are congregating everywhere, and everybody's asking
big
questions.
Aircraft. This is not narrow body operation. This is like
and nobody understood, but very few people, unless people are used to it. Like, where should I go? So, well, I see the line, and it's basically silver or frequent flyer and business, and basically everything that is not Hon and gold or on Senator, if you want. They had their own line, and we had the group 2. It was fine. The queue is a bit long, whatever, but it's the whole part of that airport is completely uninspired, man. Although I just said that I like it because there's VIP 1, the rest of the airport is kind of. Oh, T6. It's not T. Yeah, it just remember for some reason. T6 is the new one that is built over T67, and Lufthansa, Swiss, and I guess some others from Star Alliance are moving to T6 when it opens. So that will be the new home of at least the Lufthansa group, maybe some more, and also JetBlue, I think. So I think T1 will be torn down afterwards. Anyway, so I'm boarding the 359 from August 2024. It's pretty recent. That yellow patch on the door, because you said that Lufthansa abandoned the yellow. Have you ever seen physically that yellow patch on the door on a long haul aircraft? Have you boarded one?
The new one, or the one that's
the new one. When now they've put
the new one. No, I haven't.
So I don't remember if I've seen it. I'm pretty sure I have, but I must have not, because I arrive, waiting in line to enter the aircraft, and there's something written on it, and it's a welcome message by the crew with a pen, and I'm like. So I'm curious. I took a picture, by the way, somewhere in my pictures. And I asked the crew upon entering, did you just write this? And said, yeah, we do it in every flight.
Every flight.
So it's probably a pen that, you can erase afterwards. And they wrote a very nice message. I forgot. I should have had the pictures to say it today, but they wrote a nice welcome message, but the crew themselves, and then I guess erase it maybe before they take off or something. And then every single flight, apparently there's something they do, which is really nice, actually. I didn't realize that the use of that little patch was actually something like that. So it's cool, I will say. I like it.
I like that. That's really nice.
The 8K. So instead of my privacy seat, I'm getting the suite. So yeah, the suite is big, man. No regrets. Of course, no regrets. I didn't pay for it. So by that time, by the way, I didn't ask for the reimbursement of 180, right? Of course, I'm very happy to have it for free. So I'm not going to say anything to Lufthansa. Hey, I paid
didn't
for
get my seat.
The walls are higher, maybe 30 centimeters higher than the rest. So it's really private. You have a door and you feel completely enclosed. You have 2 windows for you instead of one of both the other seats. So you have 2 windows. And I counted them. There's 7 storage. There's 2 vertical storage for your coat. There's storage on the side. There's 2 or 3. There's storage below. And there's storage everywhere. There's even a storage. I use it for my sneakers. Like,
wow.
Yeah. So storage everywhere. There's the TV, and because I've seen the other seat walking around, the TV is bigger, and there's an iPad on the side. It's a German iPad. Nothing. Okay, guys. German friends, I don't think it is negative, but no, it works really well, but it's super heavy. Like it's like you when you take it from the wall, you're like, oh my god, I'm doing a workout. Like it's like this thick, really imposing iPad.
No wonder it can't be on the upper deck. All the iPads.
There's a lot of heft, solid stuff. Basically, that's what I meant by German iPad. You can decide if you want to pair your phone or not, and the only downside here is that I'm sure you've maybe experienced that when I have 2 screens, and it doesn't really happen a lot, when there's like an iPad thing on and the big screen, on one of each I put the seat, the map, the flight route, and the other I watch content, right?
Yep.
Here, sadly, if you use one screen, the other gets into some kind of idle mode. You cannot have 2 pieces of content, and that's a bit so Lufthansa, if you could rejig your software, I wish I could see the flight route maybe on the iPad. I call it iPad. It's probably not an iPad, but and whilst I watch a movie on the big screen, there's or by the way, I could watch an external camera. That's another thing that could be cool on the second screen. You might be watching a movie, and because they provide you a second screen, give me one of the nice, on the 350. There's
but why? You have 2 windows, so that's probably their logic saying.
There's I don't know. Have you flown the 350?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you had the experience of having these external cameras on
a 3? Let me think about that. On a 350. Yes.
Because I remember I think Qatar, there were 3 cameras. One from the tail,
belly, and nose, or nose wheel landing gear.
Yes. This one had 5.
What?
Belly under, belly forward, left, right, and probably just in front of the wings and the tail. 5.
Wow. So
it's amazing. Wow. So I kept going between all the tail one is still my favorite, but I was like, oh, I can see from the wing. Yeah. I mean, wing close to the aircraft, not wing at the very end. That would be very cool, though. So yeah,
I would go to the wing one. If there was turbulence, the wings would be on.
Yes, to see them like flapping around. That's really nice. And then you have USB-C with 60 watts. I mean, it's really, really. And by the way, I'm a big USB-C fan. I don't have anything USB anymore, so I'm very happy when I see that. The headset was an AKG, I think. It looks premium. It felt a bit small, but actually, when using it, the noise cancelling was perfect, very effective. You can pair your own headphones as well if you want. So, and the most interesting for people like us of AFGeeks, the IFE, the map, the flight route, man, how reactive. I would put my finger like it was these modern iPads, I move around and I could do whatever on spin the globe, nice. Zoom in. So satisfying, man. The amenity kit is a pouch like this. You have it in front of me. It's nice. It's nicely done, to be honest with you. There's a duvet, there's bedding, there's a nice cushion, etc. The seat itself is really nice. It's a bit, is it me? But I felt that the seat where you have your ass basically was a bit stiff, but it's fine. And then you have all the settings you want on the German iPad. You have upright dining, relax, sleep, and then you can press buttons to do it. Like you can do a lot of stuff. It's really nicely done. And I would say the UI as well on the, I keep calling the German iPad. It's also very, the colors. By the way, if you can see today, I have these colors like dark blue and white and everything, and with accent of yellows. I don't have yellow, but it was really nicely done. You can do heating and cooling of the seat as well. The entire. That's nice, right? That's nice. I'm always hot in aircraft.
That's new. Yeah.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
The last time I had that was in Emirates first class. I mean, it was an entire cabin. This is a bit different, but it's nice. And the entire sideboard where you could put your stuff is all anti-slippery. So whatever you put, if you put your phone, it doesn't slip out. Even on it's really well. So it's basically what I'm trying to say here is really well thought out. So bravo, Lufthansa. Of course, it's the most expensive seat of all the seats available, but it's really well done.
I'm curious, all these tricks that you've just mentioned, would the classic seat have had that? I mean, we're not talking the wall and all that stuff, but like the seating, the cooling, the German iPad. I'm curious if that's...
I'm not sure. They might have maybe a remote control, which is maybe not the size of an iPad in terms of the second screen. They might not have the cooling. I'm sure the UI, so the experience of the reactivity of the IFE must be the same, obviously. I don't know, but I'm sure there's some differentiation. But it's interesting that you mentioned that, because you pay $600 more, right? So, and honestly, the seat itself is worth it. Would I have paid that? No, I'm happy to got it for free, because even though and I'm not saying that I'm not here telling you do not pay for it. It's not worth it. It's totally worth it. It's a great seat. It's fantastic. Me being price conscious, I'm sure the other seats are good enough that I'm not sure I want to pay extra, but it's worth the extra. The thing is, Constanza, I think that was her name, the flight attendant arrives, first, of course, she says, "Are you familiar with the seat?" And I'm like, not really. It's a brand new seat. When I said, not really, it's a brand new seat, and I said, it looks really cool, she had this huge smile. She was so happy that she works with such a seat. And I'm sure many staff, many crew at Lufthansa, after having all the complaints of the old seat, must be so happy to be so proud to be working with such a good product. So she was very happy. And then she gives me this, which is a special menu, a little special menu. And she says, this is a special menu. And by the way, she even written a little note like herself. So welcome, Mr. Papadimitriou, and have a wonderful flight. And I'm like, a special menu? And she says in her spiel, sorry to use that term, but basically in her comments, she says, it's only for the business suites. We offer additional drinks and snacks that you can order throughout the flight. And no, I mean, the problem is, and that's my take, it's great. The idea is great. But the problem is when I look at there's a Corona beer, or there's crisps, sour cream potato crisps, or there's, some chocolates. I'm not saying nothing is bad here. It's nice to have. I'm not here saying it feels to me, and I don't have any in again to Lufthansa. It feels to me that once they release a product, once they decide it's going to cost, let's say, $700, they're like, oh, we need something to make it even more special. And they decided to have this. It feels like these are items that they have in the galley anyway.
100%.
Right? And they decided to, like somebody at product said, oh my God, but we need to justify
we do something.
Yes. Yeah. That's how it feels like.
Offer it's still only this.
It's still a printed menu. It's still nice that there's a handwritten note. This is a special welcome. But it feels to me that this is a last minute addition. Or even maybe after a few months, they said, oh, people they don't feel special enough. I don't know. I don't have any in again. But it feels like it's a bit to justify the extra. Because if it had been thought out as something we give an extra bit, you would have not Corona beer as an option. And I like Corona.
Special access to a draft machine on the plane. Draft beer, something. I don't know.
Right. No, but that's
a handmade snack that they have to go and do some special work. Not just, oh yeah, here's the crisps that there's only 4 on board and you can have one of them.
Spoiler, I didn't order any of this because then I received the proper menu, the actual menu, which is really nice. But I'm just saying it feels that it was not a long planned strategy. And this is not a diss against Lufthansa. Maybe, you realize that you had to do something more, but it just feels like it's not very signature. Anyway, because I don't want to take too much time. Then, I had German. She says, "Oh, do you want German sparkling wine or our signature avionics drink?" And I'm like, "Avionics?" Like, I look at your eyes, and you're exactly like me. I hear avionics. I'm like, "I'm gonna have that." Like, I like German sparkling wine, right? I'm like, avionics. What is that? And she started describing. She said, "No, that one. You sold me that one, the avionics one." And it's called even Avionic Royale. It's basically I'm sure it's some blackcurrant, but it's a brand that does that for them, especially for Lufthansa, and it's kind of a cocktail where they mix champagne with bitter and citrus, something like that. And it's a German brand that does that, especially for Lufthansa. It's pretty nice, actually. Then she comes with the nuts. The nuts are in a paper bag. No, here,
not in a dish.
They're in a, I don't think it's the case in Canada. When you want to drink alcohol outdoors in the US, you put your bottle in a paper bag? That type of paper bag.
Ooh.
I don't know. It's fine.
Was it branded?
No. It's Lufthansa. It's fine. It's fine. It's very kind of environmentally friendly, etc. Or maybe it's like they can leave it to you even when they, because we're still before takeoff. It's weird because I've never had this in other flights. Either they give you like a china or they give you like a pack or something. I don't know. It was fine, by the way. Really not a criticism, Lufthansa, if you listen to this. I was just saying it was like a bit like, why? A bag? And then, there's nuts inside. And they were nice. So fast tracking a bit. So yeah, the menu was really nice, especially they celebrate German beer culture. So you have a lot of beers, and you have also, they were celebrating 25 years of wine tasting. So, again, we know it's marketing, you and me, but I mean, it's always nice. You're still on the ground reading this. And I found my next job. Do you like wine?
Yes, very much.
Yes. They were like saying, since 25 years, they have 7 people that are dedicated wine tasters from Lufthansa. They're going around the world in all the wineries possible. They taste more than 1,000 wines or something per year, and they choose the wine that are going to be on board in all classes of service.
Right.
And I think now cost cutting, maybe they're 3 instead of 7. But I mean, these 3 guys are looking, or gals are going around the world and choosing wine. I want to have that job.
And they probably, that it's not mentioned written, they probably have to taste the wine in the air as well.
Yes, I'm sure it does.
So
I know
they're
that
flying and they have to taste the wine.
We had mentioned, and we hope one day we can get someone who does that as a job, because Emirates is known to fly all their wines and taste them in the air, and I'm sure all the other airlines are doing it. I'm saying they didn't talk about this in their marketing spiel, but yeah, that's because the wine, of course, and everything tastes different in the air. But I was like, 1,000 wine, and you choose, and like, oh God, that's nice. Okay, so then we take off. Everything is smooth. It's dark outside by that time. Maybe, I don't know, 8, whatever. No, 6, 7. And then I see the lights of JFK, and then, of course, the darkness of the Atlantic. There's nothing, so I start, in a normal flight, and maybe you'll tell us, I mean, you were flying from Vancouver. In a normal East Coast flight to back to Europe, I would go to sleep immediately because that's my night.
And it's not the longest flight either. Like,
exactly, that's what I mean. It's like 6 or 7 hours. Okay, I'm getting a little bit because I'm going to Munich instead of stopping in London. But still, I'm like, come on. I'm in this suite, and I want to see what they do now. I want to see the food. I want to see everything. So, the tray table. Open the tray table for food. The tray table is maybe the only thing that is not really designed. If you're still like, you're still better off, but you're still kind of going up. As soon as you open a tray table, it's like a guillotine. Like, I was like, come on. What happened?
Slams her.
Oh, my God. It hits me in the belly. I'm like, oh, my God. So, yeah, the menu was also very inspiring, to be honest. And so I took some fish, and I paired it with a nice Riesling from Germany in 2023. It was perfect. And then I had the cheese, and I plead because I don't like crackers. I mean, I like the thing you gave me. What was the name again? The
Raincoast Crisp.
There you go.
You need Raincoast
I love.
Crisp. Yeah.
The run-of-the-mill crackers, I'm not a fan.
Soda cracker, sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, so I asked for bread, and they would give me the proper pretzel bread. I was super happy. And then at the end of the meal, she says, "Oh, here's we give you as a surprise." And I don't know if it's only for the sweet. Here's some chocolate. So they give me some chocolate. It was nice. I mean, and I know, and I talked at the top of the show. Many other airlines do the the chocolate, but it was nice to get the chocolate. One was milk and one the other was the dark. Then I watched a movie, and of course, when I watch a movie and I close the door, this is when I start playing with all the buttons. How the seat, back, front, whatever. It's a very nice. The only downside, if you're tall like me, and the lie flat is great, everything is great. When you're like in a relaxed mode, so you're slightly ahead, how the seat goes slightly in front. My right arm, just laying on the side, would always hit all the buttons, so the seat would start moving by itself. So I was like, oh my god! It's like I was looking, we're moving, suddenly the seat like goes, oh, what's going on? Oh, in front, oh, in the back, oh, it goes up and goes down. I was like, somebody didn't test that. Anyway, the Wi-Fi is. Yeah, it's you need starting, guys. But I mean, this is just because it's fine. But
was it basic like texting?
It was basic. It was hard to, they give you a QR code. You go to the QR code. You try to log in. The login doesn't work. You try. They say, okay, maybe reboot your phone. I'm like, oh my god, I just want to go on Wi-Fi. I didn't need the Wi-Fi. I just want to see if it works. And it was faffing around. So I didn't need to use it, so I stopped even trying. I'm just saying, when you have compared that to the experience of going to Starlink and you basically connect, there's no login page or whatever. You're like, this is the future. The door, there's no do not disturb, but as long as the door is closed, they do not disturb you, so it's fine. I said, do not wake me up. I don't want to be woken up for breakfast. I'm not a breakfast guy, but also like because I eaten and drank and you enjoyed all this. I mean, my night would be very, very short. The lie flight is very nice. So everything it's a great seat. The final, we arrive over Munich. We're on the final, prepare the cabin, and then she comes. I mean, she's come very often. I could have service. The service is really, really, really nice. And she says, as a parting gift, here's some chocolate. This is more
again.
This is different. I have it in my hand here. It's a different type of chocolate. It's really nice. I haven't opened them, so I don't know if they're necessarily nice, actually. But they gave me even more. And I'm thinking again of like, maybe they had to try to say, what can we do more for these special seats that people pay more? It's really nice. It's a nice box with the logo of Lufthansa. So I'm very happy with it.
It's a bit of an afterthought.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's fine. I mean, I'm not criticizing Lufthansa because I understand that some of these decisions of choosing a new seat and choosing a new experience in business class probably have been taken 15 years ago. 15 years ago, they started like on a drawing board. Then they created that seat. Then, of course, COVID happened. We delayed everything, the installment, the creation of the seat. And, of course, like you said, the seats were too heavy, so they couldn't get like certified in some aircrafts. And they had to they also had to counterweight the aircraft. I think they added some weight in the back to counter the weight of the front. Like, this is a whole. But somebody took a decision 15 years ago. And I'm not saying that somebody was wrong. I'm just saying that they also have to deal with the cards, the decision they made, because we know the cycles of airlines are long. So, and it could have been, some stuff could have been, if it felt like a great decision back in the day. And I'm not saying they're not good decisions anymore. I'm saying that some of the stuff are like, oh yeah, but 600, 700 more, we need to justify that. And they kind of have to play and they maybe test. It's the very beginning. They're trying to test to see what should they offer to people for them to be satisfied to have to pay for every seat? Because again, it's not something you do in all other airlines. Other airlines, you sometimes either pay for the seat or not. And again, the exception being, these fake first like JetBlue and Virgin, but that's a bit different. The final, the weather, the pilot comes and says the weather is very cold. It's -10, which is basically 14 Fahrenheit. And I was like, oh my god. It was like, we land, I chat a little bit. And as I'm exiting, I'm thinking, I'm like, you know what? Yeah, no matter what I just said, the little quirks and the stuff, the little criticism, it's finally a great product for Lufthansa.
Nice.
Yeah. Is it overall compared to United? I mean, it's more modern, so it's better. It's everything is more modern. The IF feed, everything is more modern. And my United was not the latest United, guys. Now, of course, and that's just me, but that's nothing to do with the product, whether they're soft or hard. I have better interactions with Americans in general than I have with Germans, and it's just a language and cultural thing. So do not take that. Constanza, and I'm pretty sure that was her name, was amazing. She was smiling. She was very, always there and offering things. So it's just cultural. So that's why it's hard for me to say which one was better. But if I'm just rational and I forgot the emotional part, yeah, Lufthansa, you did great. It's great. It's a great product.
Awesome.
I flew, but I flew their premium business because I flew that suite. So guys, I cannot say anything about all the 25 other seats that exist. I don't know if you would have all the chocolates that I got and the special menu. I know you wouldn't have. So I don't know about the storage situation, the footwell situation. But for that seat, it works. It's comfortable. It's really nice. It's a better seat than United, as I just said. So it's really cool. I passed by, and then I'll get it to you. I passed by first. Have you ever flown first? You probably have, but I'm not sure. Long haul.
On Lufthansa or in general?
No, any airlines. I never asked you actually.
Yeah, I have.
Lufthansa or not?
Lufthansa first, no.
Yeah.
BA first of the past.
Nice.
SQ first of the past, not the current.
Oh, me too. Oh,
yeah,
God.
a few others. Yeah, it's it's its own thing.
So I had flown, and I'm going to do long on this, I promise you, if you know. I had flown Lufthansa 748 to Japan in first. That was all. So now that's been replaced again. The 74 will be a different situation, but I'm saying the Allegris as a first class as well. And it looks really nice from the pictures. When I pass by it, it also looks really nice. So it looks like a winning product. The only thing I thought, I was like, this is smaller than I thought. You know how it is. You know how you do. I don't know if you've ever rented property either because you're the landlord or you're the person. You tend to use these wide angle cameras. So
0.5.
So it felt slightly better, and it got me into a rabbit hole on which I'll finish this part. It got me a rabbit hole. I was like, how big are these first class? So Allegris, which is similar than Swiss will have their own version, which is exactly the same, just a different name. It's called Swiss Sense. It's 2.7 meters square of space, which is 29 square feet. BA, the one you've done, is 2.4 maybe meter squares. That's 26 square feet. So it's bigger than BA, which also is a good point. The JAL 350 that I said I absolutely loved is my favorite business class. That's 2.6. So it's basically similar to Lufthansa. So, but that's no, I have not done it. Sorry, I was doing the business one, but it's 2.6. So it's similar again. And I looked at who are the biggest. The new Air France on the 777-300ER is 3.5 meters square, which is 38 square feet.
Wow.
The Etihad first, the apartment, not the residence, not the thing where you have 3 rooms and a swimming pool.
Yeah.
The normal, which I've done once to Paris, is 3.6 meters square as well, which is so it's slightly more than Air France. Emirates 777 that I've done is 3.7 meters square, so that's even bigger, and that's 40 square feet. The biggest one is the new Singapore. Singapore is 50 square feet, so it's 4.6 meters square. Man, that is a big ass first
double.
class
That's practically double.
It's nearly 5 meters square, and it's exactly. It's 40% more. So again, if I backtrack, not to say that the Allegris first or Swiss Sense first is small. I'm saying it looked a bit better, but it looks really fantastic. I hope to do it one day. I'm not sure I can because otherwise I will bankrupt all my miles and I want to keep them for other things. Munich, as always, very nice. Do you like Munich Airport? Have you ever flown there?
Yeah, I have. It works fine. It's functional. What I like is it's just one big long line like a Lego brick. It's not hard to figure that thing out.
That's why I love it. That's exactly the opposite of Frankfurt. And you go there. The only reason I wanted to mention is because I exit, and as soon as I exit the plane-ish, the Lufthansa app gives me a notification, gives me right away the next gate, which is really nice, and says, you need 13 minutes to reach it from where you are. And I'm like, wow, the notification. So because they knew the gate I was arriving at, so it gave me the exact time it would get me there. And I had like a couple of hours. It was like fantastic. And I took a little train because there was some satellite, whatever. And I had 2.5 hours. Basically, I had time to go to the lounge, take a small breakfast, a small coffee, and it was really fantastic. And then the next flight, not going to go there, arrived the total opposite of New York. There's not, the gates are not gigantic, but everything is well done, group
Orderly.
1, group 2. Yeah. There's no one in Han that day because I think it's a Sunday. So
Yeah.
in group 2, I'm the first one to board, and with a 320 Neo, and everything is really, it was really nice. The crew was super friendly as well. So basically what I'm saying to finish, and before I give you, because that will be important to see if you're thinking the same, or Air Canada, between Lufthansa, United, I have a strong case for Star Alliance here. And of course, if you add ANA, which I haven't flown in a while, Swiss, which I fly, but usually short haul, yeah, it's a pretty. I'm just sad that maybe Etihad should join them. Have someone there, but and SQ is so damn expensive. Whether miles or anything that we cannot really fly them.
But they just hold the crown there.
Yes. So Air Canada, you came to see me
once
to
again,
see
Air
Rolls
Canada.
Royce.
Yeah.
But I mean, again,
You've never been to Canada?
I've never been to Canada. So, and
Until you
Star
arrive.
Alliance, it's Star Alliance. So I'm not saying I'm going to make a move only to Star Alliance, but it's interesting to me to see, is that bit of Star Alliance worth it? And especially, how was that flight that you came for like 36 hours to record an episode?
Yeah. So at the time when we suddenly realized that this Rolls Royce thing was happening, I didn't have that much time to find a flight. And in looking, in terms of paying just straight up cash, it was funny. The set of dates going to London, I was finding deals on a number of airlines, including BA as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then for the reason coming back, everything was either fully booked or the prices are skyrocketing. And for about 4 days, I was scratching my head saying, what is happening in the world? And then I really looked at the calendar like, oh, it's the 2 days before US Thanksgiving.
Oh, of course.
Then it all made sense. I'm like, okay, fine.
Yeah.
So I started playing around in the points world, and I found I was able to get the Air Canada Direct. And because I was coming for such a short time, I didn't have time to play around with connections. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go for the Direct. Book it. I know the flight. I've been on it many times. Vancouver,
So known
Heathrow.
value for you. Yeah.
Yeah. So booked it with points, a bit of a points and cash combo actually on that one, which still wasn't necessary because Heathrow's taxes.
I know.
Something else. Yeah, the amount I paid for the cash on top of the points would have been what I could have probably found as a deal if there was a well in advance notice for the flight, just simply because the taxes accumulate to that much.
Mm-hmm.
But it's what it is. So in booking it, and again, this is in economy, 777-300 ER, Air Canada, that's like their flagship. Here we go. Their transoceanic workhorse along with the Dreamliner. Those are the two wide bodies that they run. I was perfectly happy. I know the plane well because I take that thing domestically as well frequently.
Yeah.
And going into flighty, I'm like, oh, yep, I've been on this one before. It's great. Looking at the seat map, and again, it's about 2.5, 3 weeks out.
Yep.
That I booked it. The seat map showed the plane was wide open at the time. It's like, okay, well, and it's a high density configuration. It's a 343, and I've sat all over that plane. And with age comes wisdom and getting more picky. I was like, I'm just going to pay for bulkhead because that's just the way it is. There's no other way.
Man. Yeah.
Right. And they have the style where if you pick in the bank of the 3 on the left and on the right, like the window banks of 3, the aisle seat of that has nothing in front. Like it doesn't have a wall.
Oh, nice.
The divider wall, because directly in front is premium economy. So I quite like that.
Just just going to say that previously, when you were describing how you were choosing business, you were like, these are the paupers I don't want to mingle with. And then you're like,
now I'm
the other side of that.
I want to put my feet into their area.
But I actually, and I'm not going to interrupt much because otherwise you'll never go through the story. But I think these situations when you have like nothing is almost like you have your own mini business class. It's amazing in terms of
just a little bit, right? Yeah. And they've kind of maintained, I mean, I think that wall has never changed because that I've flown on that plane for years. And it's always it's a great spot to be in. And it's one of their preferred seats. So you get the zone, higher zone boarding, access to bin space, etc., all this kind of stuff.
That's nice. Honestly, it's nice.
Yeah. As preview mentioned, the check-in experience and getting through Vancouver YVR is pretty straightforward. They have this central security, and then they have the other section. So we have something called Nexus, kind of like the previous TSA pre-check kind of thing.
Yep.
So in the previous domestic flight, I had used the digital ID to get into security.
I remember.
And they had all the new machines where you take nothing out. Those big white Star Trek looking things. I was like,
exactly,
great. Yeah. So this time I walked up, I was like, even though I'm going to get to front of said line, it still looks very busy. I was like, you know what? I have lots of time. I'm going to go upstairs to the preferred line because I can. They haven't put the new machines at the preferred line. So it's kind of like your upper deck, lower deck.
Yeah, exactly.
What do I do? It's exactly the same thing. I'm like, well, I'm up here now. I'm not going to turn around. So, okay, I'm going to pull everything out. I mean, it was dead. There was nobody there. It was,
okay.
We're talking first world problem here. Get in, go through, all fine. So this is the international wing, YVR, wander up. I had probably too much time on my hands because I didn't check anything in. It was full carry-on flight. And then this is where things started to get a little bit interesting with this flight. As I'm walking up to the gate, the phone, the lights just start coming on. The Flighty, the Air Canada app. I'm like... And as Ryan said, the colors are the same.
Yeah, you
Air
said
Canada
that.
Flighty.
Air Canada Flighty. Yeah. Oh, God.
And I'm staring at it. I'm like, what? Delay. Fine. And immediately I'm thinking, I only have a certain amount of time before I need to hop in a car with you on the other end.
Yeah, true. Right? Yeah, because you need to get there. Yeah.
Yeah. And it said, okay, it's a half-hour delay. I'm like, it's half hour to nothing. They'll make that up. And it showed the arrival times didn't even change. I was like, I'm not fussed. So wander around, find a comfortable seat. I noticed the crew also hanging out at the gate, pre-glass, sort of before they open any of the glass walls and dividers. I actually had a quick little bit of work to catch up on, so I sat, plugged in, got into mode, kind of just finishing up. Like, okay, it's been about half an hour. Boom. All the lights come on again. It's almost like a torture cell. They flash the lights. And your mind just like starts wandering and stressing out. It was another 45 minutes on top of this.
Go on. I remember because actually I was tracking you. I was like,
something ever going to take off? Maybe the times are a little bit wrong. So I started really going into it and said unscheduled maintenance. So I literally stand up, turn out, look out the window. I'm like, is the engine coming apart, or are they just changing a tire, or is there what's going on here? Couldn't see anything. I turn around. The crew is now behind the glass, but still at the top of the jet bridge.
Oh.
Yeah, which I thought was very odd because pre-glass, you have access to the normal seats. Post, you're kind of sitting on those radiators that line the windows and the windows. So I was like, but this is a very common tactic with ground and crew is if you're starting to get into a bit of a delay, you don't need to subject the crew to abuse from passengers. Why is my plane? This sucks. Let the ground
so you segregate them. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, the crew doesn't need to be dealing with this. They need to just focus on running the flight and doing recovery on that side, right?
It makes a lot of sense, actually.
Yeah. I'm also looking around thinking, there's not a lot of people here. relook at the seat map because luckily it was still open. There comes to a point where you can't look at that seat map anymore when the seat controller in the back has sort of hit the switch and said is now in board mode. We're done. Nobody else, no passenger can reallocate themselves at this point.
Yep.
And the plane's like half empty. I'm like, why did I pay for my bulkhead? I should have just booked myself in the middle of a bank of 4 and had a row, but it is what
you never know that. Because that's,
you don't know, yeah.
Because even if you check ahead, which I do, and you probably do as well, on Expert Flyer or simply on the airline's seat map, if it's available ahead, some of the airlines, because I don't know the case with Air Canada, you can answer that, but like a BA, you cannot allocate your seat unless you're paying, and or unless you have status. So you have a lot of flights that seem empty because no one has chosen their seat.
Because they can't choose their seat.
Exactly. Or they had to pay for it. And then so you're like, oh, good, I'm going to be in the bank of 4. And so you're like in the middle of 3 other people. Yeah. So that's the thing. You never know actually the load in advance. The seat map can be very unclear for that. It's not always a good sign. Yeah.
But fortunately, in my bank of 3, the middle seat was maintaining as open. I'm like, okay, hey, that's great. So, and then from there, it just kind of went forward. There was this funny scene. They asked for any strollers and whatnot to come up. And, because I have used a stroller and they make those specific bags. Well, I think the bag zipper broke or blew out.
Okay. Oh, okay.
At that point. So all you hear is, the sound of packing tape coming off the roll, like that. You just hear that on and on. I'm like, what is going on? And look, and the poor gate agent's trying to help this mother with a stroller seal up the stroller bag, and has just found a roll of tape, and they're unloading the whole roll just to get the thing in check-inable format.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Oh,
wow.
So fine, it goes through. No issues for me. I was in zone 3. I walk in. I mean, the cabin's like open, like
choose whichever seat you want.
Yeah, pretty much. Settle in, sit down. They board that thing in lightning speed. It's all fine. No problem. The person in the window seat, my sort of seat bank mate, he's traveled, but he's also not in tune with travel. So he's a little bit out of sorts, one of these. So, searching around for the belt, searching around for this.
That's what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, well, that's cute. I'm just going to silo in and...
Don't be condescending, Vinod.
It was more a source of entertainment for me. I'm like, well, what does he not know? And do I need to help him? Maybe I need to help him.
He's not condescending at all, Vinod. Let's be clear. But I had to. It's so easy. But I know what you mean. Yeah, exactly. You have this hesitation. Do you should I intervene to help, or should I step back and not be overbearing? Yeah, I know.
Yeah. All departure process, fine. No issues. It's like clockwork. Captain comes on. Apology for it was something technical. He didn't get into the specifics of it. But I think he said we're only going to be about a half hour late into Heathrow or something like that on the other side. Oh, and the flight time was favorable. Like we had a very good tailwind, which helped us out. So we rocketed up and out of Vancouver, no issues. Service, yeah, I keep referring back to way back when Alex, gave his review on Air Canada. Service is just fine. It's not bad. It's not stellar. We're not talking like top 10 league here, not top 3 league. It's just functional and it's fine. But because I fly it so much, I really know when a crew is turned on or turned off, or if they're in sync. On this particular flight, they were in sync. Everything worked. It was like clockwork. But there was, again, nothing special about, and I mentioned this when I talked way back about the flight to Singapore, the ultra long. They didn't do anything different. The service flow is exactly the same, and they could improve on this, right?
Okay.
It's a long. Okay. We actually got blankets,
nice,
wrapped in the plastic bag. I was surprised about that. I was like, oh, okay, that's good. IFE fine. basic texting Wi-Fi with a little bit of extra that you can grab onto. Works fine. Yeah, pretty unremarkable flight. Smooth, seat comfort is as is.
But that's what you want. I mean, in economy, that's what I want. I want uneventful, smooth, no surprises.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right?
Because
That's a
I
good
have no
flight for me.
distraction of a privacy suite to entertain myself.
Yeah,
I just
I'm
want
so
to
sorry.
zone out. And
Let's be clear for many people listening. I know that in this podcast, I choose the flights that are like the one I just did, but I fly economy as well. The thing is, sometimes there's not a lot to say. But yeah, I agree. Go on. Sorry.
There's nothing much to jump on. Into Heathrow, straight in, direct approach, and over to, it's 2A, I guess, is that satellite terminal at the Queen's Terminal.
2B.
2B. Sorry, yeah. Which is where Air Canada pretty much does all their ops out of. And you can see other tails there. There's an A330, a Dreamliner. And I arrived, what time did I arrive? Around noonish, I think it was.
Yeah, just before noon, I think.
Yeah.
Something like that. 11:40 or something. Yeah.
So another reason why I picked wanting to be at the front is I wanted to disembark and move as quickly as I can. Because my experience with Heathrow from years past is you get jammed up in the all passports line. And if you're coming in with another wide body from a wonderful exotic country, you're hooped in terms of line. Now, Terminal 2, the last time I'd flown in there was in 2022. Just sort of light pandemic still.
Yeah.
You know, I was with my wife and toddler baby son, actually. So we had access to family line, but at that time, everything was dead because there was no travel. So it was not an issue. I thought, oh, no, travel's back. What am I going to do? I had my, ETA visa. I had everything ready to go. I thought, okay, I'm ready. Fortunately, Canada is one of the countries that is able to e-gate.
I was about to say, yeah, you can.
So after what did you call it? The
The
walk
exile.
out of exile. Yes.
Yeah. You walk for like 15 minutes on the ground.
Oh my God. Of course, they never have all the right people walkers working. There's always at least one down.
I know. It's a disaster.
Yeah.
I mean,
But you know what? After sitting for a long time, I'm like, okay, this is good for me. I need to do this. Walk. And into immigration, not a soul again.
nice.
It was the weirdest thing. I'm like,
That happens.
there should be flights arriving. But
That happens.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
good.
into the E-gate, through with 30 seconds. Didn't even have a check back. I was from aircraft to ground side, and I think I clocked it at like 6 or 7 minutes. And that's simply because of that long walk. It was wonderful. The only thing I did is I stopped at the kiosk by one of the carousels to grab a Heathrow Express ticket.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That's the only reason why I slowed down. Just out, straight, bang, 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 to the Express. Well, that was...
I know.
Oh, that was a walk. To
Yeah.
get to the Express.
Because they built the Express. I mean, they built basically the station between 2 and 3, Terminal 2 and Terminal 3. So you have to walk back to, and the 3 the walk is less.
Yeah,
In
and
the
you bounce
future,
off that little hub in the middle, like where the tube hits it, right?
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So at the let's see the promise. The promise, whenever they're going to redo Heathrow, which I don't think I'll be alive to see it. This should be the central terminal. I think that's what they call it. So it's going to be, and of course that where you went to pick up the train would be just under it, and not having to. Let's see. I don't believe these promises. But
Yeah.
It's a bit of a walk.
Yeah. And then you kind of, as you're approaching it, you encounter the first time or the unfamiliar travelers that are trying to figure out how to get to these trains. Where do they leave their cart and whatnot? Anyway, in and through. So great flight for the most part overall. Like it was fine.
You felt refreshed when I saw you. So a couple of hours later, I picked you up, and we went to Derby to visit Rolls-Royce, and you felt very refreshed. I was like, maybe it was the excitement, the adrenaline to like,
I think so.
with with Rolls Royce. I was like, hey, you must have had a good flight. I mean, you told me you had a good flight. So I was like, okay, good.
Yeah. So we did our days, which was great. And then literally 2 days later, back at it. So back on the express from Paddington, I checked a bag this time because I did so much Christmas shopping.
Yeah, well, yeah. Guys, yes, it did.
Yeah.
Just for context, before we even arrived to the hotel where we spent the night prior to visiting Rolls-Royce, we stopped at a shop for him to pick up some stuff he wanted to bring back because it's at least in the UK it's very easy to get to click. They call it click and collect, so you can choose your shop when you want your stuff delivered. And he chose a shop basically at near to where we were going to see Rolls-Royce. So he's like, "Can you do a stop here?" I'm like, "Why would you go to this here?" And like, yeah. And he comes out. I'm waiting for him in the parking lot, and he comes out with this big parcel. I'm like, "Oh my god, he had like 3 suitcases or something of stuff." This is great.
Like
it was not a criticism, by the way. I loved it. It was like, how much stuff do you buy? It's amazing.
I made for a good Christmas.
Yes.
Yeah. And I can't remember, did we already talk about the dropping the bag and checking in at Terminal 2 on this flight?
On the way back? No, you haven't.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, right.
So what
Okay.
happened?
So this bag that I packed was right on that limit of 23,
Something.
24 kilos, something like
Yeah.
that. I mean, I'm using the hand scale thing. I'm like, okay, well, let's see, right? So Terminal 2, again, the last time I'd flown out, it was just mayhem. It was insane. You couldn't even walk in this place. So I was getting ready for that. I walk in, I don't know where everybody was, but the place was dead. It was great.
Oh, nice.
So I'm thinking, how am I going to avoid this? Okay, I see the automatic machines. And then I also see an Air Canada ground staff. So I go to the kiosk, tag the bag, go around through the hoops, and then there's like a first agent sort of to making sure, okay, you have a bag that you've printed, great. And she looks at it right away and says, no, you need to go see the agent. I'm like, oh, how?
Huh?
The printer, the laser printer that prints the tag at the particular kiosk I'd chosen had printed it all wonky. It was like off its track. It still said YVR. There's still a barcode, but it was just wrong. And I looked at it, I'm like, it does look wrong. Check.
Yeah.
And nothing else. You just have to get him to reprint it for you. I'm like, oh, he's going to see the weight. And he's going to see my carry-on. Because my carry-on, that was the other thing. The carry-on I was using had a backpack and then like a roller case. Is one of those ones that's very borderline. It's like, I know it fits in the 777 bin because I just came across it and I've used it for years, but it's one of those things it's questionable.
Yeah.
And I had heavy loaded that one too. So I thought if this guy it doesn't like my carry-on, he's going to want to check a second bag and then I'm going to have to pay for that.
Yeah.
So I got to figure this out. So I kind of sneak over, sort of put this one bag that needs to be retagging. The weight actually was fine because it was pretty good with my manual scale. And I'm quietly like hiding this big carry-on sort of behind me around the desk. And I just start chatting about the weather and the flight and some nonsense just to distract.
This is not mine. It
Yeah,
doesn't exist.
it's just there. But it's got cheese in it. So he doesn't even flinch. Tags the current bag, puts it in, says, have a good day. I'm out. So it's fine. And then security was pretty easy, actually. No issues. Terminal 2, there's a fast track.
They have the new machine. They have the new machines, right?
They have the new machines.
When you went, yeah, exactly. There's pretty much all of them now. Yeah.
Yeah. The person scanning, where you have to like basically stand there and have the thing silently x-ray you. It's funny, the way you have to put your arms now is down.
Yep.
Versus up. Over here, it's still, you have to put your hands up as if you're about to like.
Yeah, it's true. You're right. You're right. In the US, you put your arms up like you're making a Y, like the beginning of YMCA. The famous. Here we do the A, or I've geek style. You look like an airplane or like a rocket about to launch.
Man. That's right.
The rocket man, right? It's true. You're right. You're right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, go through. I had a request from a friend here to pick up something in duty free. So I'm running around 2A here looking because the duty free is kind of layered in odd spots. And it's kind of split with hallways in. So this is a very high end bottle of scotch that he wanted me to find. I go to the main area, it's not there. I'm like, okay. It's like some F1 version. I didn't even know it existed.
I don't know. Wow.
Yeah, I'm not a Scotch guy. So, and I was like, oh, that's the second area where they, there's a bunch of agents, duty-free agents. They're guarding everything and things are in like glass cases. And sure enough, it was there. So I had to like go there. And I did burn around, get stuff. I'm like, okay, time to walk back to Exile. Here I go for the walk to Exile, and down,
walk.
Broken one. Okay, got to walk.
And I think which direction? Yeah, because it's the thing. They only have one set of these travelators. So if you're set in going one direction, then you have to walk. No, of course not, because there must be two tunnels because you don't mingle with passengers.
It's two tunnels.
Yeah, there must be two tunnels. Yeah. So I'm just mixing with the fact that some of them are always not working, and I'm like, oh god.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I must say though, the artwork and how they've decorated it, it's quite nice. A lot of heritage and aviation stuff. So it's actually, if you're not in a rush, it does what it's supposed to do and keeps your mind occupied.
It's my favorite. It's my favorite terminal in Heathrow, Terminal 2. To be, of course, joking. I mean, it's an excellent, but it's fine. To be honest, it's totally fine. One day,
it's fine. Yeah,
there will be a train, like a small tram, whatever they call it. But the one day, again, I don't think I'll live in long enough to see it. But
yeah, but you could see there was I think there was a United flight actually, probably one of the ones, and there were people that were late, and you could tell they had misjudged time, because if you don't know how long this walk to Exile is, and you're happy eating something in A, and you got to book it, you got to move quick.
Yeah, you gotta dash for it. Even though all the signage say big A 20 minutes, I don't know how much it says. Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah,
but yeah.
So what I like about 2, it's very quiet. There's not a lot of faff going on. Just gates, big windows, and you can see the runways. You can see all the action. So I picked a great spot and watched everything.
That's nice.
It was really nice. So then they start calling for boarding, and way out. Like, it caught me off guard. I'm like, oh, what? And I had the zone 3 again, because I picked the same seat, the same thing, the bulkhead. I picked the exact same seat. I'm like, you know what? It's done. There were a few more people on this flight, so I would not have been able to have secured a row. So I was very happy. And same thing, the seat in the middle was empty. Fantastic. So I was just starting to kind of get everything together, and so I like to stand a lot before I go and sit. So I'm standing there, and they're like, "Oh, we're calling." What? You're like almost an hour out, like 50 minutes out. I'm like, okay. And what they do there is very interesting. The aircraft is not ready, because I was still seeing pilots going down, I was still seeing crew going down, and they're calling for boarding. And it's probably the same thing you experience. They just stack you up in a nice, orderly fashion. They have the space, they have the queuing, the signage is great. So we just get into line, and you're standing in the line, and, bit of chaos with the families and the strollers, and they're sorting all that stuff out so that when they call boarding, it's just boom.
Yeah.
No issues.
I think, it happens very often at Heathrow in general. And I think, we all complain, before I say what I think, we all complain that sometimes they put you like in this kind of limbo between boarding and not boarding. I'm like, am I? Yeah, so we say we're boarding, but then we have to wait another 25 minutes standing in some part of the in-between thing, like another type of exile, because the plane is not ready. And I think that's mostly informed because Heathrow has very hefty fines for basically staying at the gate too long. So they have like a plane has this block time, they need to leave, and if there's outside their control weather, whatever, that's different. But if they're not ready, and if you're delaying the access to the gate, the fines are very heavy for the airline. So ops, I'm sure that the people on the ground are like, I don't care if you need to stand for 20 minutes. I'd rather have you ready, because when we open the doors, you go in, you sit, and we leave. I think that's probably the reasoning behind this experience that I have often at Heathrow in general. Yeah.
Yeah. And not much else, just in the sake of time, to say about that flight. I mean, again,
Similar.
same thing. The crew, fine, friendly, did what they're supposed to do. They served us. They smiled, and it was fine.
That's what you want again.
Right? Yeah, no issues. My seatmate was experienced traveler, so she was in check. We were both in check with our zone and our space, and getting up and sitting down and accessing stuff and asking for things. Yeah, it was a nice seamless experience, which is great.
I like what you just said, because it's true that when you're sat next to someone that has the same level, I guess, of travel expertise or experience, it's almost like a dance. You're moving at the same rhythm. You put my things, and you can see the other person is doing maybe slightly differently because of whatever they're using, but maybe they put their, I don't know, their laptop or the iPad in a thing there, and they like this other battery, and like they're all ready to go. Like it's not gonna, I need to go back to faff around in the overhead bin later on. They all have everything they need around them. Maybe not a laptop, maybe because that's sometimes heavy and there's just like, but you know what I mean? There's this dance, and you're like, I know you're also a experienced traveler. You're doing like me, of all your stuff. Like I would go as far sometimes, because I'm often trying to get the bulkheads, which often means, or the longer, the more leg room. So it would be an emergency exit, or for row one if I'm flying short haul, and very often with EasyJet, for instance, right? So I know I cannot have anything with me, because these are the seats. You cannot have a bag with you. So I literally, before boarding, I have the battery pack in one of my back pockets of the jeans, the cable in the other one. The phone already has this little thing that I put, so I can put it on the tray table to watch content. I have my headphones around my neck. Like everything that I would need is already on me. So when I arrive, I just put the two bags, or the bag if I have one. You generally have a smaller bag, just like, a man bag, I guess, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting down, I'm ready to go. Like everything is on me. Like,
and done.
Like,
exactly.
I'm done. I don't need to, especially when you are in the, but I was about to say only in row one, but in all rows, you don't want to clog the boarding, because you're still, I'm sorry. And you like go ahead and like, oh my God, I just want to get to my seat. And this guy's taking 5 hours to actually put his stuff together. Go. I'm ready to go. Yeah.
So
Agreed.
Generally, all good.
Nice.
Literally a week later, I was back again on Air Canada for domestic. And we've talked about, I fly to Toronto, but what was special about, and I finally got it. I got the A330.
Aha.
With the Rolls-Royce engines. Oh, it was fantastic. Actually, it was a red-eye flight. So, leaves the West Coast on Vancouver at 11 p.m.-ish. And with the time change, you land in Toronto at around 6 a.m. So we call it the red-eye series. So I booked this particular one. I was happily surprised to see that it was an A330. And now, I think a few episodes ago, I've tried to get the A330 once before, and then they switched the aircraft.
Yep.
It was holding, and I hadn't been on an A330 for years. And you guys, when you and Alice talking about, go back on the 6-7 or like the older generation of aircraft.
Yep.
Something about it, like everything up to that was same as I've said before. Digital ID boarding, the gates, Vancouver, everything's fine. And you step on that plane. I don't know what it was. The lighting, the colors, the 242 seating. Awesome.
It was you liked it.
Yeah. But what was really neat is, again, I booked the same thing, the front bulkhead of economy in the bank of two, the aisle. The wall stops about 1.5 feet off the ground.
Oh.
So you have full, absolute infinity legroom to put your bag, to put your, obviously, your feet, whatever, no problem. The girl next to me used that space to put her carry-on. And she was like almost having to get on her fours to grab it because it was so far in. I did what you did, sat down with everything, and I was able to kick right out. It was great. And yeah, great flight. And funny, after having been to Rolls-Royce, when that engine started up and when it started spooling up and stabilize, I was listening to everything of the whole thing. And I was thinking of our friends. I'm like, they're watching me on that screen.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Exactly. Right? They knew where you were. They probably had also a little flag, Vinod.
Yeah. That's right.
Make sure this one actually gets to its destination.
Yeah.
While I'm talking to you, I'm trying to remember when I was flying the last time the 330. It must have been quite a while, man. I haven't flown.
Yeah,
it's still Air Canada, but in general, I haven't flown.
In general, right? Yeah.
I cannot find it. That's it's somewhere. I'm not gonna. We're live, so I'm not gonna do that now. But yeah, I haven't been in a while in a 330.
Yeah,
it was jealous.
I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm just so hyped up about it. I was like, I'm exaggerating, but something about it. Again, crew was great. Night flight, they just come through, service fast, shut her down, and within 5 hours we're in Toronto landing. And it was a wet landing, so it was like you don't even feel the wheels touch. It's just you're on the ground. So, and just to wrap up Air Canada, then Toronto coming back on a Dreamliner, bulkhead seat. The seat part was fine. The crew was terrible.
Oh,
yeah. It's funny once you sort of know an airline, you know how their sort of their SOPs are. You really notice when it's not aligned. I think this is a crew that just wasn't in sync with each other. I was watching the service of the flight attendant in premium economy. I don't know, she seemed to have a big chip on our shoulder about life. The one that was serving us, she looked like she'd been through the laundry machine and then come to work because the uniform.
Just my God, that's quite the description right there.
The cabin service director, you could barely understand her announcements, just the mic control and the way it was just a terrible run of service on. I mean, it's a domestic, like you're getting free meals and it's just asking for stuff, but just sloppy and out of sync. And for someone that's so hyper aware of that airline or just Gav Geek and what we sort of pick up on, you notice it.
And ex-crew.
And ex-crew.
So you have, you notice maybe probably more than me. Me, I'm like, oh, he doesn't seem, or she doesn't seem happy today, whatever. But I might not notice, or I notice, they're slower than usual or whatever. But I might not notice other hints that you might, because you've been in the galley yourself. You've been doing, maybe not for Air Canada, of course, and doing the same this flight you just, but maybe hints that I might not see.
Yeah.
I'm sure
you really notice it when the cart shows up in one aisle, but not in the other at approximately the same time.
Yeah, that's true.
They're working their way down. Like, where's the other cart? And 10 minutes later, it shows up. I know for a full fact it doesn't go to the back, turn around, and come all the way back up. In this case, something's not right, or they're air talking across the middle bank. Yeah, for supplies or signals or questioning each other. It was just a bit discombobulated, to be honest.
Then again, if it, I mean, I don't know what's your take on it, but if it happens once in a while, every airline will have a once in a while, stuff happens and the flight, service is not great. It has happened on literally every single I've flown, more than once, of course, because you've flown only once in an airline, I don't know. But the trick is not that it becomes something too often or too regular, that it becomes the experience you remember. Yeah. Because if I don't know, I really don't know about Air Canada. Maybe you'll tell me actually is discombobulated one every 2 times, and I'll say, yeah, that's a bit much. If it's once every 10 flight, let's say whatever, and again, anecdote is not data. It's not as if you or me or fly every single day. It's okay to have sometimes okay, well, didn't work out today. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe the crew were rearranged and they just got thrown into the plane. Yeah, so safety was never compromised, of course.
I know. Exactly.
We're talking the silly fine details of Uber service, but so a lot of runs in Air Canada, and that's gonna
continue.
Yeah,
it'll be our running commentary about Air Canada, because since you fly them, especially on these domestic, very often, you will feel changes happening. Like if there's a trend going on Air Canada, whether towards good or towards bad, you'll be like, something is happening here. And because we're in 2026, I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe Air Canada will turn 90 next year. So it's not 100 like American, we talked at the top of the show. But maybe they'll do something, since Cathay does something for the 80th. So maybe they'll do something. So I'm pretty sure it's 90. I think it's 37, 38 maybe. No, 37. I'm pretty sure the founding is 37. You should check. Maybe I'm wrong. It wasn't called Air Canada. It was called
Trans-Canadian, TCA. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Air Canada is something for the 60s and the 70s. It was a more recent name, I believe, right?
That's right.
But these... Sometimes, before I engage in that, anything you wanted to add about the flights or the arrival, because I don't want to cut your story short.
Everything from that point was as per normal. Into Vancouver, all good, no issues.
Because I was about to say, when we say 100 years, and I didn't look into any of those, but some airlines have an uninterrupted one single name long run, and some others you're like, well, you're cheating when you're like 100 years, because you're like, you changed 5-6 times and then you merge and unmerged, and there's affiliation, but it's a bit more. I believe KLM isn't the oldest.
Is the oldest, isn't it?
I think it's the oldest still alive, in the air. There might have been others, but I think it's KLM, and KLM I think is clear. They've been KLM. They still are KLM, right? They're KLM, good airline. They're still there. Yeah. Even BA. Yes, but BA was Imperial and BOAC, and you're like, right. So I'm not saying there's no affiliation that BA cannot say. Of course there is, but it's less clear to me. Yeah. And even American, how many bankruptcies the U.S. airlines in general have had?
Obviously swallowed up this and that and taken on that, and yeah.
But they're still 100 years, guys. It's really not a diss against America. I'm just saying there are different cases. Some it's very clear. I haven't checked with Lufthansa, but I'm pretty sure Lufthansa was always Lufthansa with Lufthansa and now Lufthansa in one name. But I think it's always been Lufthansa. I'm pretty sure. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, the one thing I'm jealous about you doing all these Air Canada flights domestic is that you're in wide bodies domestic. And when I fly in Europe,
you're on the 320.
I'm the 320, and I love the 320. It's so dependable. It's a workhorse. There's never issues. In general, as a flying public, it's a freaking amazing aircraft. But in terms of diversity and seeing something else, I'm like, oh my God, again. And also, since I mentioned earlier, business class, we're the only continent in Europe, and I know there's all the rational reasons exist, but the only continent when I got into that flight from Munich back to London after doing Allegris, I'm in business class because I was ticketed the entire way business class, and I'm in a 320 business class, and I was like, it's the only continent where business class is worse than economy premium United in the US, because it's like. So I have an economy seat. In the US, you have, they call it economy premium, it's more legroom, bigger seat. And when it's first, it's an actual business class,
class seat. Why? Now, this wide body thing is primarily on this Vancouver, Toronto.
Of course.
Like if you're living in Edmonton, Calgary, you're probably not going to be on it.
I'm still very jealous. Anyway, I think we're going because 2.5 hours. So let's run the music to end this, and I'll ask you. I know already because I think you gave me the same answer last time, but never mind. And I don't know when this is going to be released, so it might be completely off. But what are your next flights? But let's wait for the end music. What are your next flights? Which I already know the answer.
Not Star Alliance. On One World. So I make my way to Italy. With a odd route.
Yeah, just don't spoil it.
Yeah,
but
more an illogical route. Let's put it that way.
I like illogical routes.
hopefully it all tracks. Hopefully it all goes on time, because if any of this misconnects, it'll make for great content.
Well, exactly. That's the hope. Not the hope for your flights, the hope for the podcast.
Yeah. I'm flying with an airline that I've not flown for a long time. And then on to one that we all know and talk a lot about as well. So.
Yes. And then, of course, you'll be at the Olympics in Italy, which I'm very jealous, of course. Look, guys, I don't know when this is going to... I mean, of course, it's always silly when I say that, because when I say it, when you listen to me saying that, for you, it's today. For us, could be after the Olympics. I don't know. But for me, I was actually supposed to fly next week. It's not happening. And I'm not going to say where, because I'm trying to push that to another date. Would have been a great flight for this podcast. So it's still, to me, February, like you. I'm flying to Dubai with an odd route, as in not that odd, but because I want to talk about a product on this podcast.
Nice.
So there you go. On that note, happy flying.
All right. Take care.